Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a rare Sunday afternoon edition of a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series live commentary stream for the running of the Clean Harbors 175 at the Milwaukee Mile. It is the second race of the round of 10 for the NASCAR Truck Series playoffs in 2023. One driver has already locked their way into the next round in the round of 8. That was with a win at Indianapolis Raceway Park 2 weeks ago, that driver being Ty Majeski. But a very tight points battle for the other 9, vouching for the next 7 spots with 2 races to go in the round. This weekend, of course, here at Milwaukee, and then another short track in 2 weeks, which will be held at the Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll take a look at the point standings coming into the race here today, but before we do that, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, and of course, live commentary streams for the NASCAR Truck Xfinity and Cup Series every NASCAR race weekend. Unfortunately, I was not able to do a live commentary stream of the NASCAR Cup Series race yesterday, so I apologize for that. I had a fantasy football draft yesterday in the evening, and then when I got home before the end of the race, I was still feeling a little bit under the weather. I ate some buffalo chicken dip that did not go down well, so even though I missed the start of the race anyway, I did not feel good to even stream, even if I would have been home. I don't know what went wrong there. I don't know if I ate too much of it or something. I feel good today, but I mean, it took probably till about 8, 9 o'clock this morning before I started feeling like myself again. So I appreciate everybody that is tuning in for this one, though. It sucks I couldn't make it. It was a heck of a race last night. I wish I could have brought you guys the call for that one. Trust me, if I could have, I would have. But I was unable to do so. But we'll be back here. Won't be missing any races anytime soon, unless I'm at the track in person, which won't be until Bristol in a few weeks anyway. So, yeah, we'll get into this one here today. They're just given the command to fire off engines, so we'll go through the point standings coming into today's race. Corey Heim, who is the regular season points leader for the Truck Series coming into the first race of the round, had a pretty stellar weekend. 2 weeks ago at IRP, he is 47 points above the cutoff line pretty comfortably. As long as he pretty much gets to the end of both of these next 2 races, he will be in the round of 8. Christian Eckes is plus 39 points, setting himself up pretty good as well. Carson Hocevar plus 35 and starting very good in today's race. Qualified very well this morning and was pretty fast in practice yesterday afternoon as well. Zane Smith will be 29 points to the good to start this afternoon's race. Grant Enfinger, who is on the pole for this one, will be 24 points to the good. And then an even tighter bubble battle coming into the second to last race of the round with Ben Rhodes, former Truck Series champion, 4 points to the good in the first round. Nick Sanchez, the rookie, plus 2 points to the good over 3-time Truck Series champion Matt Crafton. And Matt DiBenedetto, former Cup Series playoff driver a couple seasons ago in the Truck Series, his first playoff in this series, and he is 3 points to the negative of Nick Sanchez coming into the race. So those 4 drivers are going to be very important to watch throughout the course of this 175-lap, 175-mile event. As for the starting lineup, we'll go through that next. Grant Enfinger, as mentioned, will be on the pole. Nick Sanchez with another great qualifying run. He's had many of those this season. We'll see if he can capitalize on a good finish, though, this afternoon as he starts in second. In row number 2 will be Carson Hocevar and Taylor Gray, Gray being the highest qualifying non-playoff driver for the race. Daniel Dye and Christian Eckes will be in row 3. This is Daniel Dye's best start of the season. Chase Purdy and Corey Heim will be in row number 4. Row number 5, Jake Garcia and Ben Rhodes. Rhodes starting in the top 10, looking to capitalize on stage points, was the highest qualifying Ford this morning. Tanner Gray and William Sawalich will be in row 6. Sawalich has performed very well in the few races he's gotten to run in that one truck for Tricon Garage. We'll see if he can capitalize with another solid run today. Ty Majeski, Bailey Curry will be in row number 7. Majeski, as mentioned, won at IRP in the first race of the round. He's racing strictly just for more playoff points these next 2 races, as he is already locked into the round of 8. Roger Caruth and Tyler Anker will be in row number 8. It was announced earlier in the week that GMS will be shutting down operations for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series team, so that 3-truck organization will be going away. Caruth trying to vouch for a ride for next year, looking for a solid day this afternoon. Haley Deegan and Zane Smith will line up in row number 4. Smith starting pretty deep in the field for the playoff drivers. Still got a couple other ones starting a little bit behind him. Dean Thompson and Lawless Allen will be in row number 10. Stuart Friesen, who was the first driver to miss the playoffs in the Truck Series, will start on the inside of row number 11 with Matt Crafton to his outside. Matt DiBenedetto will start the inside of row number 12 along with Colby Howard, so both those drivers below the cutoff line starting in the back half of the field today. Derek Kraus and Matt Mills will be in row 13. Mills in the 51 truck for the second straight week for KBM. Of course, that 51 truck is still fighting for the Owners' Championship. As for Sean Hingorani, making a Truck Series start here today with Hattori Racing. He'll be on the inside of row 14 with Connor Jones to his outside, making another start for Thor Sport Racing this season. Brett Holmes and Spencer Boyd will be in row 15. Josh Balicki, Tyler Hill will be in row 16. Row 17 is going to be Derek Lemke and Brad Perez. And then rounding out the 36 truck field here today will be Josh Reum and Greg Van Alst, starting deep in the field in row number 18. Hopefully Van Alst can at least get to the finish. I think he's finished last or very near last in every race so far he started in the Truck and Xfinity Series. He has some sort of a mechanical issue like every single time. It's really nothing of his own doing. It's not like he's getting into any crashes, but he is having a mechanical issue or starting parking or something. So hopefully he can not finish at the very tail end of the field today, or at least try to complete all the laps, I think would be the next best goal for him for today's race. So that was the starting lineup. It does look like the lights are out on the pace truck right now, so they may... Oh, no, never mind. That is a lie. They will not be going green this time by. Once again, 175 laps, 175-mile race today. Stage splits, for the most part, pretty even. 55 laps in each Stage 1 and Stage 2. Final stage just 10 laps longer, 65 laps. The fuel window will be 75 to 80 laps, so they will not have to make a green flag pit stop at all in the stages. And the reason for that being is because this is a standalone event for the Truck Series. So even though we're in the playoffs now, still with it being a standalone event, the Truck and Xfinity teams in Daytona this weekend have already ran their races. All their personnel is either in Daytona still or on the road back to Charlotte. They were not going to be able to make it up north to Milwaukee for this race weekend, so there will be no live pit stops in today's race. There will be a 3-minute break at the end of Stage 1 and Stage 2 for teams to make adjustments to their race trucks, change tires, add fuel, and etc. So there will only be 2 pit stops in today's race, and pretty straightforward again at those stage ends. You cannot lose positions during those stage breaks. Again, no live pit stops. That has been the same for all the Truck and Xfinity Series standalone events this year, and I believe this is the last standalone event for either series this season. Michael Turner, Philip Moore, Delbert Wilson, Terry Lewis. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Superpan. Who else is listening live right now? Billy Kramer, Wade Solinsky, Cars One Boy, also welcome into the stream. We've got 40 people watching already. And 15 likes already. We did hit our goal of likes during the Xfinity Series race Friday night. Again, I apologize for not being able to go live for last night's Cup race. Promise to you that won't happen again this season. Again, except for the races I go to in person, which again, the next race I plan on going to is Bristol. But there will at least be a race highlight from the grandstands for those weekends as usual. So can't wait for that one, but can't wait to bring you guys the action today after missing a thriller at Daytona last night. Congrats to Chris Buescher for winning his 3rd race in the last 5 for the NASCAR Cup Series. Incredible season he is having here as of late, and I think he has a very decent honestly, I think he's got a good chance to make it to the Championship 4. I'll be making my playoff predictions a little bit later in the week, but as for right now, I'm leaning towards Chris Buescher making the Championship 4, at least making it to the round of 8, but those playoff points are definitely going to be huge for him. I think he starts off with 20 playoff points to begin the postseason. So, number 4 seed, I think, going into the playoffs. So, right there around the bubble for the Championship 4 right out of the gates. As for the playoffs, though, here today for this Truck Series race, again, it's going to be important to watch because the elimination race will be at Bristol in 2 weeks. They'll have another off week. The next couple, actually 2 more off weeks. We got Darlington off next week for the trucks, and Kansas, they're off. Bristol will be the round finale for this opening round, and then they will have just 4 races left after that. So just 5 truck races left this season, even though the Cup Series still has 10 races left. I think the Xfinity Series has 9 races to go. So definitely a lot of racing there, but not that much left here. So let's enjoy it while it lasts. And this is, I think, the only Sunday afternoon race the Truck Series has had this season and will continue to have. Taylor Klaus, Wheeler Rick, the Tie Guy, thanks for tuning in. Any new golf score records? No, I shot that 69. The next best score I've had since then is a 77. So I went right back to normal there immediately after. I don't know how I played as well as I did that day. It might be a while before I can shoot that low again. I pretty much have been right at about my handicap the last 2 or 3 rounds I've played. I did see the flip last night. I mentioned briefly that I did watch the race last night for the majority part. I might have missed parts throughout the course of it. Again, I was a little bit under the weather yesterday evening and felt it was in my best interest not to stream when I got back home. But we are back and better than ever again here today. Green flag is in the air. Pretty nice crowd on hands for the standalone truck event at Milwaukee. And we are racing on this very worn out 1 mile surface. Field making their way off turn 2 for the first time. It'll be Grant Enfinger who easily takes the race lead away. Nick Sanchez, who's down on the bottom lane, is underneath the 17 truck yet of Taylor Gray, rather. A little bit of a grip strip in that bottom lane, and that will allow for Sanchez to not only pull clear of the 17, but pull back to the inside of the 23 truck of Enfinger. A lot better drive off in that inside lane for Sanchez as he's working it very well. Those slips up a little bit through turns 1 and 2. And as a result, he is going to have to slide back in line behind Enfinger. Grant Enfinger did lead the opening lap of the race by a little less than a half a truck length over Sanchez. Pass-through penalty for the start of the race for last week's winner, 2 weeks ago's winner, Ty Majeski. So pass-through penalty. He's just now making his way off pit road. He'll be about a half a lap, if not a little more than that, behind the race leaders, but should be able to stay on the lead lap to the end of this first stage. Battle again for the lead between the 2 and the 23. And again, it's Sanchez on the bottom of the racetrack through turns 1 and 2. Grant Enfinger to the outside lane. It seems as if Sanchez is a little better in turns 3 and 4 than Enfinger in that bottom lane. And then in turns 1 and 2, he just can't continue to apply the pressure. He ends up falling back. Sanchez again off turn 4, gets to the inside of Enfinger. Enfinger just cannot get the drive off on the outside lane on that side of the racetrack. And Nick Sanchez again challenging to 1 and 2, and if I had to guess, he's probably not going to be able to stay there again, and that is exactly the case. So one of these times, if Sanchez could stay close enough, I think he's going to have an opportunity to clear Enfinger off turn 4. It's going to be his best opportunity to try to make the pass. Slipped up a little more off turn 2 that time than what he had in the laps prior, so much so that he couldn't even get back to the inside of Enfinger through 3 and 4 on lap 4. And Enfinger has continued to lead the first 4 laps of the race. Now he's got about a 2 to 3 truck length lead back into turn 1 on lap 5. So Enfinger leads. Nick Sanchez is 0.3 of a second back in second. Taylor Gray 0.7 of a second back in third. 1.1 seconds off the lead is Tristan Eckes in fourth, and Carson Hocevar's fifth. 1.6 seconds off the lead. So that is your increments between the top 5 there, and how they situated themselves following that initial start of the race. I did pick Carson Hocevar to win the race today. For some reason, I did not mention that. And I'll also get a poll up pretty quickly for you guys to vote for who you think will win today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Milwaukee as well. So do that real quick. And for the time being, I'll play just a couple minutes of the broadcast.
He drove straight through the field, Michael. So this is a team that understands overcoming a problem, and he did that at the end of stage 2. By starting behind the 8 ball this early, it gives them a huge opportunity and plenty of time to get back in this race.
Yeah, fast truck, though. 3rd fastest truck that lap on the racetrack. He's been consistently in the top 5 each lap since he's been back on the racetrack.
And he knows this track. He raced here earlier this year.
He won.
I know, and he's got so much experience here, understands it. That means, to me, a really good long-run truck because he knows what he's looking for. A lot of these guys have never raced here before. Some of them are only 6 years old last time we raced here. So the trucks are really interesting to see who's able to figure out what kind of setup it's going to take to be successful.
Had that nice battle for the lead to start out, but Sanchez is falling in line behind Enfinger, 0.7 of a second behind. Gray continues in third. That's Taylor Gray, the rookie, and 3 playoff drivers behind him, Eckes, Hocevar, and Corey Hine.
The only playoff driver we have. Ooh, great battle here. There's Daniel Dye, Bailey Curry, the 41, Daniel in the 43. Matt Craftsman, our playoff driver, coming to the inside of Daniel. Matt DiBenedetto had to go to the back of the pack for unapproved adjustments, so he's back on the 25th spot. He's our only playoff driver outside the top 20.
What's that on the back of the 41 truck of Bailey Curry's?
I think he's made contact with somebody, hasn't he?
Is that just a decal, or is there damage?
There's damage there. That's the rear bumper cover that's being ripped apart. That's basically a fiberglass piece.
I'd say we'll see a little more of that today. Sometimes you've got to get a little bit aggressive if you're going to move around someone on track here at Milwaukee.
Worldwide Express on that number 41 truck. Such a great partner to the NASCAR world. Sponsoring Carson Hocevar occasionally. Some cup races with Ross, Suarez. What a fun night it was last night in Daytona, huh?
Man, oh man.
Season finale was right on point.
Chris Buescher, he's pretty good. Won 3 of the last 5. Here it's the Grant Enfinger Show, leading 10 laps in.
We'll go through the full field running order for the first time in the early going of today's race, as it looks like right as they cut to commercial break, we are under caution for the first time today. So during that yellow flag, it looks like Grant Enfinger with the race lead. Nick Sanchez is in second. Taylor Gray is third. Christian Eckes in fourth. Carson Hocevar fifth. Corey Himes sixth. Chase Purdy seventh. Ben Rhodes eighth. William Sawalich ninth. And Jake Garcia is 10th. Tanner Gray in 11th. Tyler Ankerman 12th. Raja Caruth in 13th. Zane Smith 14th. Derek Kraus 15th. Bailey Curry in 16th. Matt Kraft in 17th. Daniel Dye in 18th. Haley Deegan 19th. And Matt Mills is 20th. Dean Thompson 21st. Stuart Friesen 22nd. Sean Hingorani in 23rd. Colby Howard 24th, Matt Benedetto 25th, Connor Jones 26th, Wallace Allen 27th, Tyler Hill 28th, Brett Holmes 29th, Spencer Boyd 30th, Greg Van Ulst 31st, Derek Lemke 32nd, 33rd, Brad Perez, Josh Reum 34th, Ty Majeski 35th, and Josh Balicki in 36th. And I think Balicki might have been the cause for that first caution, considering he has scored a couple laps down already, but again, under caution for the first time today. Looks like an incident between the 14 and the 41 in the backstretch. Actually causing this caution. And Ty Majeski will get caught up with the rest of the field now after having to take that pass-through penalty after the first lap of the race and failing pre-race inspection multiple times post-qualifying earlier this morning. So as for the race right now, Grant Enfinger's led every lap so far. With no live pit stops, I don't expect anybody to come to pit road this time, especially 10 laps into the race, despite the fact that this is a very old, worn-out surface, and tires will matter. Teams will have, I believe, 2 sets the entire race, so it's going to be hard to kind of go off strategy a little bit with the stage splits the way they are with this being a standalone event, so I don't expect much to happen here. But again, it looks like the 14 and the 41 trucks being involved in that incident. Bailey Curry in the 41. Oh, no, actually, that is not correct. For some reason, that is the cup race from last night. I was wondering why it was given the free pass to the 45, and I was like, I know we kind of joke around about Wallace Allen getting incidents every week, but I didn't think he was a lap down already. 10 laps in. Yeah, so the 41 was not involved in that incident. I do think it was still Josh Balicki, considering he's a couple laps down. Let's listen in just to verify that.
At the Milwaukee Mile, first caution of the afternoon. And unfortunately, it's for a Wisconsin-born driver, not this one. Ty Majeski making a pit stop.
Minor adjustment there on the 98 truck was last anyway, and it's just a good way to get ahead of whatever adjustments he thinks he might need.
What I heard on the radio... Yeah, what I heard on the radio, guys, is that they were wanted the truck a little more tight, so they took a round out of that right rear and made some track board adjustments and a little top off of fuel.
There he goes, back on the track. I like that adjustment, Phil. Just get ahead of this truck.
Now let's get to the other Wisconsin driver who brought out our first caution of the afternoon, Josh Balicki.
Josh had something go down on the right front, whether it was what caused the wreck or after he hit the wall, but the team has been working on it.
Yeah, it was definitely flat. It's down now. It's flat going in the corner. Tough break for that Tyler Young team. Insurance king on board for Josh Balicki. Was about 30 miles away or something Josh is from.
Yep.
Certainly that area.
That almost looked like the tire maybe rubbed a tie rod or part of the suspension and just went flat that soon in the race, and right into the outside wall he went.
Yeah, there it is right there. Obviously seen better days.
Good road racer is Josh Balicki. And we talk about the fact that he's from here in Wisconsin. His first ever NASCAR start in the Xfinity Series at Road America over in Elkhart Lake. Looked at the entry list, saw one of the teams didn't have a driver, made some phone calls, said, I'll drive your car for you. And that is how he got his first opportunity and made his NASCAR debut. And now he's raced in all 3 series, Cup, Xfinity, and of course right here in the Craftsman Truck Series.
That's got to be disappointing. Home game, you get your buddies to come out and watch you race a little bit and only run 10 laps, and it's all done into the outside wall.
You know, when you look at the history of this racetrack for the trucks, the drivers that have won here, really a who's who of success, mainly in the Craftsman Truck Series. But Kurt Busch won here in 2000. Yes, he was good in the trucks, but he's been great across the board. Let's go back and look at his win here 23 years ago.
Yeah, 11 of our 15 races were won by champions. Kurt was not one of those because he was not a Truck Series champion. He finished second points his rookie year. Look how young Kurt was back in I guess we're all younger back in 2000, but what an amazing career that Kurt Busch has had.
Yeah, it's just a great driver. He's one of those guys that no matter where he went, he made the team he went to drive for better. And that's what he'll always be known for, his passion, his heart, the wins, obviously, across all 3 top series, and the 2017 Daytona 500 champion, NASCAR champion, a legend, is Kurt Busch. And he's still in the garage area with his Monster Energy hat on and his drink, just trying to help 2311, help anybody he can get better. That's what he's all about.
He won with every organization he drove for, right?
Announced his retirement yesterday, and I would say that probably is what's most impressive. I mean, the numbers are incredible, and Mike, you laid them out there. But the reality is he did it with so many different teams. It didn't matter what organization he was competing for. As you said, he made them better and took them to victory lane. And in some cases, won championships, and that was awesome for him.
Yeah, he has a younger brother that's pretty good, too.
He's decent. I'd say both will be first ballot Hall of Famers.
Should be, absolutely 100%.
Hey, since we're taking a trip down memory lane, NASCAR 75, let's go back to 1995. First time the tailgaters paid a visit to the Milwaukee Mile.
Skinner's crew had told him, say, hey, back off, save those tires. Let that 30 truck go until near the end. It looks like he might have saved those tires just enough. Here he comes.
Great job by Skinner.
Skinner will go a little bit high. Setzer will use that to get back on the inside again. Great racing.
Hey, boy, if they don't get into each other, this will be unbelievable. This is for the win.
2 laps to go.
This is the greatest truck race of the year, side by side. 2 to go, lap and a half almost now. First,
The truck race line.
He gets one.
And here comes Skinner across the line. It will be Skinner.
it doesn't get any better than that.
Wow.
Standing ovation all around this racetrack for the NASCAR Super Trucks. Mike Skinner wins the first truck race here at the Milwaukee Mile, goes on to claim the championship 1995.
How about that all-star cast of announcers? Ken Squire and Ned Jarrett up in the booth, along with Kenny Wallace and Mike Joy on pit road. They're getting ready to interview Skinner.
Was that like an oh by the way, Kenny Wallace? Is that what that was? I don't know. Kenny always entertaining in the broadcast booth.
I like what we're seeing here today. We got Sanchez dropping to the bottom, giving that whirl.
One to go signal given that time by Aiden Woodward, Mike George, Ethan Chua. Also welcome to the stream here recently. Michael Turner, T-Van, welcome in as well. Yeah, I did see Kurt Busch's announcement. I actually watched the announcement on YouTube like 15 minutes before the start of this live stream today, so unfortunate. I mean, the writing has been kind of on the wall over the last year or so, but give him props for fighting to try to get back. And he's still trying to fight to get back so he can get back in a race car of some sort, but it will not be in the NASCAR Cup Series any longer. Probably for health standards, his best interest, but stinks to see an incredible driver's career cut short quite like it was last year. Green flag back in the air. A lot of bottlenecking going on in that inside lane from about rows 3 and 5 on back. And Nick Sanchez trying to stay to the inside of Grant Enfinger for as long of a period of time as possible. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it. Off of turn 2, it looks like Enfinger's going to be right there. But he is not going to be able to make the move. Off the exit of turn 2, Enfinger has about a 2 truck length lead over Nick Sanchez in second. And Sanchez is under duress right now for Taylor Gray. Gray has stayed right on the back bumper of the 2 truck. Ty Majeski making some bonsai moves in the middle to the back of the pack as he tries to work himself a little bit closer to the front of the field. Got to restart the back of the pack this time. Made a slight wedge adjustment down onto pit road. He's been very good at this style of racetrack and shorter throughout the course of the season. As for Enfinger, continues on his lead, about a 0.3 of a second advantage over Sanchez, who remains in second. And Nick is slowly getting away from Taylor Gray for about as quick as he possibly can. Carson Hocevar is 1.1 seconds off the lead behind them, and fourth, still staying out in front of Corey Heim. So that is your top 5 right now. Again, following our first restart of the race, that incident came out with Josh Balicki blowing a right front tire at lap number 10 for the first caution of the race. Enfinger has led the first 21 laps so far, and there were no live pit stops that took place during that first caution very early in the race. Matt DiBenedetto, who did not qualify particularly well, is still outside the top 20, trying to fight his way forward. Majeski's the last of the running playoff drivers right now, considering how he had that penalty at the start of the race, but Matt DiBenedetto has not been very good. Matt Crafton, who started right near him, has been working through the field, though. Crafton started just 2 positions higher than DiBenedetto outside the top 20, and Crafton's already to 12th, gaining double-digit positions from the start of the race. Grant Enfinger with a half a second lead now over Sanchez. Sanchez not applying as much pressure as he did in those first 10 laps prior to the first caution, as he's slowly slipping back. And we'll see if anybody will have anything for Enfinger, who, of course, I announced, or it was announced earlier in the week, and I mentioned it very briefly during the driver lineup at the start of this one here today. But GMS shutting down at the end of the season for Truck Series operations to put their full focus on the Cup Series program. Of course, merger between Maury Gallagher and Jimmy Johnson, along with, of course, Richard Petty at Legacy Motor Club with the rebranding there. They're switching to Toyota next season, so big things in the works for that organization, and they will not be in the Truck Series any longer after being a mainstay in this series for a very long time. It'd be cool to see them go out with a championship this year, and Grant Enfinger has definitely been a Championship 4 competitor through the second half of the regular season onwards, once he got that first win of the season back at Kansas. So Enfinger, Sanchez, Taylor Gray, Carson Hocevar, top 4, Corey Heim in 5th, Christian Eck is 6th, Chase Purdy 7th, William Sawelich in 8th, Ben Rhodes 9th, Jake Garcia is in 10th. It's your top 10 as the Truck Series will head to commercial break. The race is on Fox Sports 1 this afternoon as well, if you were wondering. I know some people might have been wondering if it was on a local Fox channel with it being a Sunday afternoon, but that is not the case. It is still on Fox Sports 1, as every race has been so far for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season. Regine Huddleston, Joanne C., Inside Uranus, welcome into the stream. Congrats for winning that regular season championship last night in the NASCAR Fantasy League. This is I guess technically the second to last live commentary stream before the playoffs start for the Cup Series next week. Of course, we'll still have Darlington Xfinity coverage next Saturday afternoon. That should be a fun race, by the way. They put on a show in that Darlington race there. Really, both Darlington races that the Xfinity goes to every season the last 2 to 3 years. So that will be a thriller. Can't wait to bring you guys the action for that. But needless to say, Fantasy League, be sure to join into it if you're not in it already. We reset our points this week and we crowned a separate playoff champion. But if you're not in it when the league starts this week, it's going to be very tough for you to win the championship, missing a race, especially considering that there's only 10 races in the playoffs. So definitely be sure to join. You can join on the NASCAR mobile app or NASCAR.com website. Go to the Fantasy Live links at the top of the screen. Click on that, sign up with your email. It is free to join, and you'll want to search for KRC League, KRC in all caps. Put it in the chat real quick. So KRC in all caps, space, and then a capital L on League. So that is what you'll want to search for. Again, you have pretty much about a week to be able to enter if you're going to want a good chance to win that playoff championship, as the points will be resetting. Also, Inside Uranus, while you're in the chat here, I'll message you on Instagram later tonight about further details for your tickets for this year, from last year's championship, and then for potentially next year as well. Means you're a few weeks out from going to the race you're going to. Got just over 60 concurrent viewers watching right now. There's probably a lot of people that don't realize the Truck Series is on right now, which I don't blame them. I didn't realize the Truck Series was going to be racing this afternoon until like last Sunday after the Cup race. It might have been after, well, no, it wouldn't have been after the Truck race because they didn't race last weekend. I believe it was after the Cup Series race last week. When I was looking for the scheduling for this week, I was like, oh, the Trucks are Sunday afternoon. That's weird. I would have thought it would have been yesterday for the Cup race, but it was not the case. I did know they were at Milwaukee this weekend. I just would have thought it would have been a Saturday afternoon before the Cup Series. It looks like the main event this weekend. I don't want to say that this is the main event of the weekend. I think most people would consider that the regular season finale at Daytona is the main event of the weekend, but considering that this is the Sunday race, that's why I wanted to say that. Surprised Carson Hocevar hasn't quite shown more speed. He's kind of locked into the fourth place spot. Taylor Gray, who qualified in fourth, kind of inverted positions with Hocevar out of the get-go. We're 30 laps into the race, so that means we have about 25 laps left in Stage 1. It'll be very interesting to see if we will continue green to the end of this first stage or not, and what adjustments some of these teams can make, try to work their way even closer to the front of the field if they are further back, especially of those playoff drivers. Matt DiBenedetto continues to lose positions, by the way, 27th right now. I remember during the IRP race a couple weeks ago that he had radioed into his team on multiple occasions very early. This is the worst truck we have had all season, and it looks like they are having maybe an even worse week this week, coming in only 3 points below the cutoff line despite not having a good race at IRP. Hopes were still high coming into the weekend, but they have not shown great speed from the unload yesterday afternoon. So tough break there for that 25 team, the Rackley Roofing team, and we'll see if they can rebound here. They want to stay on the lead lap to the end of this first stage to try to give themselves a chance. The race leaders have not gotten into lap traffic yet with that caution in the early going laps of this race. By the time we got the restart to where we're at right now, they're still sitting about 7 seconds behind Brad Perez, who's the last car in the lead lap in 35th. So it'll take a few laps before they get to him, and we'll see if Matty D can stay on the lead lap right now. Ty Majeski from the restart at the tail end of the field has made his way up to 14th, and Matt Crafton, who got up to 12th, gaining over 10 positions from the start of the race when he qualified in 22nd, he has now fallen back to 16th, so it looks like he has cliffed. His lap times have definitely fallen off a little bit, as for anybody who was around him, it looked like that last lap he had the 18th fastest lap time, as Bailey Curry and Raja Caruth are kind of slowly running him down, running slightly faster times as well. So Crafton might have used his tires up a little too early in the run, and as a result is starting to slip back into the pack a little bit more. So 34 laps in, a 1.7 second lead and growing for Enfinger as he continues to dominate Stage 1.
A lot of people in the garage area said that in practice yesterday that he had one of the best trucks. But now remember, they haven't had a chance to make any adjustments to these trucks. But how about Derek Kraus? Started back, way back, I think in about the 25th position, 25th, and now battling for a top 10 run here. Good job early on for Derek Kraus, local driver.
What about this 7 truck? You put it on the track, and it's going to have some pace to it. I think Derek was really frustrated with practice yesterday. Heard an interview where he said it just didn't go well. Today, he's on it, though.
Of course, Lane Riggs driving that 7 truck at IRP 2 weeks ago. Finished third, his career best. That truck won earlier this season in dominating fashion at North Wilkesboro with Kyle Larson behind the wheel, so we know how fast it is.
Remember last year, William Byron dominated the race at Martinsville to get a grandfather clock in this 7 truck.
And I'll say this about Kraus, not a lot of opportunities this year, only his second truck start. But if you go back to the springtime, those Dash for Cash races in the Xfinity Series, he had a chance to drive for Colleague Racing. First ever starts on the Xfinity side, netted a couple of top 10. So he's been able to show off his driving talent this year with limited opportunities.
He's way faster than the 35 right now, but just hadn't been able to figure out how to make the move yet. That's as close as he's been right there. Kenny dive bombed him into turn 1.
Yeah, I think he's going to get him. He is. He may slide up in front of him, take the air away, but good pass by Derek Kraus. Move him into 10th.
Another position here that Tom Majeski's trying to grab away from Zane. The pretty truck this week.
So Majeski continues to move forward now as he'll pass Zane Smith for 13th place on the racetrack. Matt DiBenedetto lost another spot about a lap or two ago. He has now fallen to 28th place, and he has 26.8 seconds off the lead. And Enfinger's last lap he ran was a 32.764, which means that DiBenedetto is about 6 to 7 seconds ahead of him. 18 laps to go still at stage 1. There is a chance DiBenedetto goes a lap down here before the end of the stage. If he does and gets the free pass position, he would get back on the lead lap, but he'd have to restart at the tail end of the longest line for the next restart. And as for Grant Enfinger as well, as I mentioned, that 32.5 second lap time, that last lap, that is over a second and a half slower than his fastest lap of the race, which means that we are seeing quite a bit of tire fall off, even though we've had only about 30 green flag laps, as we had several laps ran under that first caution back from lap 10, spawning to about lap 17 in the stage. Daniel Dye, after qualifying in the top 5's fallen back quite a bit from his qualifying efforts. He is now in 24th and is being pursued by a couple of drivers behind him of Colby Howard and Sean Hingorani, who are all over the back of that race truck trying to gain some positions there as well. Nick Sanchez has picked up just a little bit the last couple of laps. He was a little over a tenth of a second quicker than Grant Enfinger that last lap, as he has now cut the lead down to 1.6 seconds. It was nearing 2-second advantage. I think some of that may be the lap traffic that Enfinger is starting to deal with at the tail end of the field, as we only have 30 trucks on the lead lap, and Matt DiBenedetto is now the second to last of them, as he loses another spot now to Tyler Hill as he falls to 29th. So not a good start for DiBenedetto, one of the playoff drivers, and really the only one in danger of going a lap down in this first stage, and that would even include the 51 truck of Matt Mills going for the Owners' Championship, who is in 19th and has gained a handful of positions from his start, as well as he was right around DiBenedetto's starting spot at the beginning of the race. We'll take our first ad break of the race here today. You're listening live to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Clean Harbors 175 at the Milwaukee Mile. Be sure to like and subscribe. We are on the road to 5,000 subs. We were only 6 subscribers away from 4.6 thousand coming into today's race, so we'll try to get there here before the end of this one. I think we can do so if we haven't already. But again, be sure to do that. We'll continue our coverage on the other side. And also vote for who you think will win today's race. 31 votes so far have been casted. We'll close this poll with 50 to go in the race. As for right now, others leading the percentage by quite a bit. 48% of you guys of the 31 that have voted so far say that somebody other than Chaim Hocevar Enfinger will win. I put Enfinger in there because he was on the pole, and he does look to have the dominant truck, at least early. We'll see if Ty Majeski's going to have something for him, because he is ripping through the field right now. Carson Hocevar has 16% of the votes as well. Looks like Enfinger's just bumped up to 19% now, and then 16% of the votes for Corey Haim. He was the highest in the point standings of those without a win. I didn't put Ty Majeski in there because he started deep in the field. I honestly didn't think that he was going to have a chance, considering he has been ridiculously fast on this type of racetrack this year. I look back to Gateway where he dominated despite not getting the win. He looked quick in practice, not so quick in qualifying, and then made a bunch of adjustments to that truck that they were going to have to start the race half a lap down. So I figured if we went like caution free through the first stage, he was going to have to start stage 2 at the back of the pack still. It was going to be tough to pass once he gets into the top 10. Still hasn't quite gotten there yet, but he does look promising from a speed standpoint, so we'll see how much he can be able to build off of that once he gets 4 fresh tires back on the race truck again to start stage 2. But for right now, looks like he is doing a pretty good job. Tyler Hill about to go a lap down now from Grant Enfinger. Up to 42 likes on the stream. Again, our goal is 100 for this afternoon's race. Matt DiBenedetto during the commercial break just went a lap down as well. So once Tyler Hill gets lapped, DiBenedetto won't even be in the free pass position anymore. It's going to be very tough for him to get back into this race. With the lack of speed that team is showing, going to have to try to get lucky with a free pass, hope that maybe some of the other playoff drivers have problems today, or he's going to have a big deficit going into Bristol, which is a good track for him. Remember, that's where he came so close to getting his first career Cup win back in 2019. So if there is a track for him to go in, maybe having to win, that could be the one. But you would hate to have to count on that to get him into the next round. Taylor Gray still within about a half a second of Nick Sanchez. The lead is built up over 2.5 seconds now between positions 1 and 2 on the racetrack. Sanchez was starting to gain right as Enfinger was getting into lap traffic, but then once Sanchez had to move his line around towards the top to try to find a way around some of these slower lap cars, his lap time started to fall right back to Enfinger's, if not a little bit worse than that. So that is how Enfinger's opened up that lead once again just a little bit more. Fastest lap on the racetrack that last time was Ty Majeski with a 32.94. He is still in the 11th place position. Stage points don't matter for Majeski today. The only thing that matters for him is if he gets any playoff points, which would be for winning a race or winning any stages. Same goes for at Bristol in 2 weeks, which again, he should be a favorite considering how fast that truck's been on short track. So I'd almost consider him the favorite for the championship right now, just based off of how he runs on the short tracks alone. I mean, Corey Heim and Ty Majeski, I think, are the two favorites for the championship right now. Heim's just been so gosh darn consistent this year. There's a reason he clinched the regular season championship nearly a whole race early despite missing a race this season. And no, he doesn't have that many wins, but Majeski doesn't either. And Hocevar has the most wins, but hasn't had the consistency for me to believe in him as a champion or championship contender. I think he can get to the championship 4, but when it's all said and done, I think it's going to come down to the 11 and the 98. But we still have several weeks leading up to Phoenix, obviously, and things could change from there. They got to get there to have a shot at the very least. Only car out of the race to this point is the 02 of Bilicki. And we're coming up on 5 laps to go in stage 1 this time by 50 laps in the books. And 55 laps in the first 2 stages, and the final stage will be 65 laps. First pit stops will be coming up during the stage 1 break. They will not be live pit stops, so no positions will change. But a chance to get 4 fresh tires, top off on fuel, and make any adjustments. They'll have a 3-minute period to do so. Under basically a modified red flag rule, where the teams are allowed to touch their cars, which typically under red flags that is not the case. And that is because, again, all the Cup and the Xfinity Series teams were in Daytona this weekend, so not as much personnel at the racetrack for a lot of these Truck Series teams. Help even out the playing field a little bit. Ben Rhodes battling with the 7 truck of Derek Krause, who had a big loose moment getting off of turn 4 on the inside. Lost a lot of ground to Ben Rhodes. Did a great job not making contact with the 99. If the 99 would have been crowding the 7 just a little bit more, they probably would have ended up wiping each other out, but it's also a good better move by Rhodes not to pinch the 7 down so tightly in that battle. He gave him enough room so that way if there was a mishap there, he wasn't going to get taken out. So great job not being over aggressive as they battle for stage points late in the stage, which again, Rhodes is a playoff driver, and as mentioned, Krause just in his 2nd truck start of the season, trying to make the most out of that Spire Motorsports entry in the number 7 truck, and currently he is, at least up to this point, he has been in the top 10 all race. 3 to go in the stage now. I don't think Majeski will get to the top 10. He's about 3 seconds behind Krause still, but he's locked into 11th, I think, to the end of this stage. 3-second lead now for Enfinger over Sanchez, so it looks like Enfinger will be able to pick up another playoff point, as long as nothing catastrophic happens in the last lap and a half here. And it looks like Rhodes will get passed by the 7 truck. So that is a loss of a point there for Ben Rhodes. They are closing in on Chase Purdy simultaneously, though. It looks like the one with the left sides down on the apron that time, a little bit below that yellow line, trying to make the pass on the 4 of Purdy. Trying to get all the track position he can, because again, pit stops will not change position, so it is crucial for even the non-playoff drivers to try to get their positions here inside the top 10 if they're able to do so. One more lap for the 7 to complete the pass on the 4, 3 wide with the lap truck, and the 12 to the outside. It really hurt the corner exit that time for the 7. He'll slide up the racetrack now and try to clear the lap truck into 3 and 4, and Rhodes might have a chance to get back underneath him. Grant Enfinger gets by Hingorani. He'll salvage his teammate Roger Caruth in front of him to stay on the lead lap to the end of the stage. So Hingorani will get the free pass during the Stage 1 break. Our second caution is this Stage 1 break, and Grant Enfinger will win the first 55 laps. Nick Sanchez is going to finish second, Taylor Gray third, Corey Heim fourth, Christian Eckes rounds out the top 5, all receiving stage points in Stage 1. Carson Hocevar 6th, William Sawalich in 7th, Derek Kraus 8th, Chase Purdy 9th, and Ben Rhodes will round out the top 10. So it looks like we had 4 non-playoff drivers finishing in the top 10 there and 6 playoff drivers finishing in the top 10, which means that we had 4 playoff drivers that did not get any stage points there in Stage 1, but one of which includes Majeski, who is already locked into the next round. As for Grant Enfinger, this is going to be his second stage win of the year, so that playoff point is big because he has 2 race wins but only 1 stage win. Came in with 17 playoff points, so that'll give him 18 if he moves on to the next round. That'll carry over for him. Yeah, I've got another fantasy football draft later tonight, so on that Instagram message, it might be a little later, but I know you live out on the West Coast, so maybe it won't be late for you. It'll be late for me, but I'll make sure I get to it. So once again, Hingorani going to get the free pass. That is actually kind of big because Stuart Friesen would have been the free pass truck if the 61 didn't go a lap down. Friesen's just had some terrible runs here the last several weeks. Really, that regular season finale they ended up having at Richmond, from then on, they have not been good. I think it's more a testament to the short track program over there at that Friesen Halmar racing team more than anything, because he was fast at Pocono that week before, got taken out in a late race incident there on one of the last restarts in Stage 3. And as a result, unfortunately, it cost him a bunch of points, and he ended up missing the championship missing the playoffs after a very poor run at Richmond, and he has had consecutive poor runs to start the playoffs. But again, we're on this stretch of the season where if you count the regular season finale at Richmond and then these first 3 playoff races in the round of 10, they're all tracks of 1 mile or less in length, including 3 tracks that are 3/4 of a mile and less in length. So 3 short tracks, and then today, which is kind of like an overgrown short track. So very flat races like a short track. You're going to have to try to get to the bumper, move somebody is going to be the easiest way to pass, as we've seen a couple times throughout the pack today. Despite the fact that there is 2 lanes with the worn out surface here, but still very difficult to pass on the bottom of the track nonetheless. Yeah, I never used to count stage yellows, but then when I started doing these live commentary streams last year, I started to actually count them, and the only reason is because NASCAR counts them as cautions. So for statistical speaking, I have to basically do that for these broadcasts, but that is the only reason, really, because otherwise I'm with you. Just because it's not a traditional yellow. It's the way I look at it. Even though it does still slow the race down because of a yellow flag. So I can see the argument on both sides. 43 votes casted so far. Others down to 44%. It was 50. Enfinger's starting to sway in the direction of potentially winning the poll, considering how fast he looks here in the early going. So we'll see how much closer he can get. Hocevar at 21%, also growing along with Enfinger and Corey Heim, only 12% of the votes so far. SC1212 Abel, thanks for tuning in. Deegan racing to drive the 38. Xfinity 2024, I don't know. I have no clue on any Xfinity Series rumors for next year as to what some of the silly season looks like in the under series below the Cup. Other than the fact that Austin Hill signed a multi-year agreement to stay in the 21 at RCR, which came to a surprise earlier of not this week, but I think the week before. Pit stops are happening for the first time today.
During that first pit stop must have been great, because look at him all the way up into the 11th spot. After that, just driving through the field, no chassis adjustments here, just tires and fuel. And as we go over to the 11 of Corey Heim, Scott Zipadelli told him there's going to be a big swing for you as he gets off of pit road. They made a major adjustment on the track bar to get some rear grip into that truck, Josh.
Trouble there for the two getting out of the pit stall. His biggest concern was he was struggling a bit laterally free in turn 3, and as far as the 23 of Grant Enfinger, he said he was starting to struggle a bit on entry and exit. They made a track bar and an air pressure adjustment to help out your stage 1 winner, guys. Great work.
Well, never mind. I guess we do end up seeing live pit stops today. I would have thought because it was a standalone event they weren't going to do that, but I think because it's a playoff race, they tried to get all the Cup Series personnel up there for these Truck Series teams to be able to make live pit stops with this being a playoff race. I think is the only reason that they end up doing it. So with that being said, they should have 3 sets of tires instead of 2. So if we did see a caution in the final stage, we could see potential pit strategy there with the fall off we've seen today. Again, about 2 seconds through that first stage with just under 50 green flag laps ran. Corey Hyde wins the race off of pit road, so it looks as if he will be leading the field to the green. According to our leaderboard, we'll maybe have to wait for that to update. That might not have been correct. We'll have to wait and see. I saw that Ryan Preece was released from the hospital earlier today, and he is back home in Charlotte now, but they still haven't released if he has any injuries or not. As of what I saw from Bob Podkris, which was very early this afternoon, like I saw that around like 1-ish, 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, so that was a little over 3.5 hours ago. So yeah, hopefully no major injuries there. Scary wreck last night, to say the least. I've never seen a car torpedo as quickly in the air as I saw his. I've seen a bunch of old crashes before, old flips. It got a lot of height, for sure. People compare it to the Elliott Sadler wreck. It didn't really remind me of the Elliott Sadler wreck, because the Sadler wreck, it looked like he barrel rolled like a lot slower. Like he got a lot of height like Preece's crash did, but he didn't have as many rolls. It was pretty much all on pavement for Sadler's wreck, which may have maybe hurt a little bit more. But Preece's crash, I mean, it wasn't the grass, but he might have gotten a little bit more height. But the rotation of the flips were a lot faster at his crash than what it was for Sadler. But Sadler's crash and most flips that we've seen in the last like 20-ish years in NASCAR, most of those flips, when the car hits the ground, inertia kind of takes over and it just slowly comes to a stop. That was not the case with Preece's car. That car did not want to stop, and it did not want to slow down. Like, it was a very fast flip. I guess Christopher Bell in the Truck Series, I think it was 2017, that was very fast and on pavement, but he didn't get height out of it, so it was like a barrel roll, and then it came to a stop on all 4, thankfully. This luckily stopped on all 4 because the car ended up catching fire, so that's very thankful. Especially with how much damage there was, it probably would have been very difficult to get out very quickly. So, safety team was there very quickly too. So credit to the AMR team that was there. But yeah, I did see Preece was released from the hospital. I don't know if there was any extent to injuries. Again, Bob Podkris didn't tweet anything about like if there were any injuries, but we do know he is back home in Charlotte at least. So I would imagine there's no critical injuries considering he was released from the hospital, but you know, I don't know if he has to get a second opinion. Like you just never know with that stuff, especially as violent of a crash as it was. Wheeler Rick the Tie Guy, thanks for tuning in. Looking up Frankie Muniz yesterday. Believe that 15-year-old won the ARCA dirt race. Impressive. Oh, I have no clue. I think ARCA was... I thought they were at Milwaukee this weekend. Unless they were somewhere else. I thought they were running at Milwaukee. It might have been like the ARCA East or West, I guess, technically. It might have been running today. There was an ARCA race this afternoon before the truck race, though. Is that a rerun of a different week? I have no clue. So about to get back to the green flag here to begin stage 2. 25 trucks on the lead lap to begin this stage. And I believe there was a very slow pit stop for Ty Majeski, which costed him 11 positions on pit road. He was 11th at the end of stage 1. Now he'll restart 22nd, so this will hurt his chances of trying to get up there and contend for the win. Once again, he's going to have to move quickly as he did on the last restart. Green flag back in the air to begin stage 2. Enfinger electing the inside. We've already got a caution as there's a lot of smoke at the back of the pack getting into turn 1. 2 trucks are involved. The 30 and it looks like the 20 of Van Alst. Oh my goodness, I feel terrible for this guy. I just mentioned it in the pre-race that Greg Van Alst has finished last or near last in like every truck and Xfinity start he's had today. Just completing all the laps would be a win. He gets to stage 2 this time, which has not been the case. Usually it's like in the first 10-15 laps he's getting in an incident. He made it into stage 2 today, but it looks like the window net is down. His day will come to an end after a pretty decent hit into the wall, considering how much damage is on both race trucks. His highlight definitely winning that season opener for ARCA at Daytona this season, but any start he has made in the Xfinity or Truck Series this year has been very pitiful. And I get he's not running with great equipment, but at the same time, just thinks he's not able to make it through the race. Oh man, it looked like Van Alst just went straight into turn 1. So that was on him. I don't know if he didn't have any brakes or what the case was there, but he completely wiped out himself and the 30 of Brad Perez.
When Brad Perez asked his crew chief what happened there, they reported that they think that Greg may have blown a tire, just kind of took him out. It's kind of a bummer for Brad. It's only his second ever start on an oval. I talked to him prior to the race. He's been spending a lot of time with Rajah Caruth. They've been trading information back and forth. Brad Perez, by trade, is a sports car driver, so he's been helping Rajah on the road courses, but looking to gain some knowledge here on the ovals will be a bummer for Brad Perez.
I've seen Brad racing a little bit this year in the Xfinity Series as well. Third caution comes out. Restart stage 2. Perez, Van Alst done for the day. Corey Heim is your race leader.
So it sounds like a right front tire or a tire of some sort was down on Alst's car getting into turn 1. He was on the bottom lane, so unfortunately Perez was just to his outside. Free pass is going to be given to, it looks like, Lawless Allen in the 45 with this caution coming out. So Allen will get back on the lead lap. That'll put 26 trucks on the lead lap. Both Perez and Alst were a lap down at the time of their incident. They'll head to the garage along with Bilicki, so we'll have 3 trucks out of the race to this point. We will take a quick little ad break here. You're listening live to the Clean Harbors 175 at the Milwaukee Mile for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Road to 5,000 subs on the channel. And obviously, trying to get to 4.6 today. We got a good chance to do so. We were only 6 shy at the start of the stream. Our goal also is 100 likes for the stream. We're almost halfway there. And we still have a little over half the race to go. So hopefully we can hit both goals today. And again, we'll continue our coverage here on the other side of this break. Frank Powers, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, that's just... Mentioned it in the pre-race, man. Van Alst has had the absolute worst luck with mechanical issues in his NASCAR Xfinity and Truck Series races he's ran in this year. I think he's literally DNF'd in every race. And I don't think he's made it halfway through any of the races he's ran. But I also don't remember him like causing any incidences. I literally think it's been mechanical issues. Now, you could argue some of the mechanical issues maybe is from pushing too hard. Like, we don't know the extent of the issues. But I would like to lean towards that not being the case, considering how early in the race he's having a lot of these problems. Now, today, having the flat tire after a caution, he either ran over a piece of debris under yellow that they didn't pick up in time, or it was a faulty tire. It would have had to have been one or the other, because it didn't look like he had much damage on his car before that. There's a chance that maybe he did have damage and the team didn't pull out the fenders. It could be any one of those three situations. But gauging it off the fact it didn't look like the truck had much damage prior to the green flag, I'd probably have to speculate it being something that he must have ran over during the pace laps under that last caution before they had picked up the debris, or maybe a piece of debris that wasn't picked up at all and he happened to run it over, which caused the tire to go flat, and then didn't realize it was flat as they were taking the green and trying to brake like normal into turn one. The car just wouldn't turn or slow down. Pretty hard hit, too, for both trucks, rather. Hopefully he gets more starts this year. Just hopefully he can make it to the end of one of these races sometime.
In America on Fox, Bryce Harper and the Phillies clash with Christian Yelich and the Brewers in an NL showdown, or you get the Twins against Corey Seager and the Rangers. Catch every play Saturday night, 7 Eastern on Fox. Check for the game in your area. And since we're talking Brewers, leading the NL Central, there's their ballpark not too far away.
Yeah, been there for a few games over the years.
American Family Field. They get some great crowds there, and we've got a good one here this afternoon.
Yeah, infield's full of Braves fans as well.
It's always popular. I'm not sure why we stopped coming here back after 2009.
I'm just glad we're back.
Me too.
Beautiful day. Lots of great race fans, and we're seeing some great action on the track.
In Milwaukee today, and the fun really just beginning when it comes to the playoffs and the Craftsman Truck Series. IRP goes to Ty Majeski. We stay in the Midwest this afternoon. From here, we're off to Kansas.
Well, still staying in the Midwest, Kansas, and then we're going to go south to Bristol.
What about the little Bristol Talladega combination? Does that scream NASCAR or what?
Wild card back to back.
They set the championship forward at the Homestead Miami Speedway, and then it's out west to run for the title in the desert on November 3rd, a Friday night at Phoenix.
I think we're going to fly, though, from Homestead to Phoenix. I don't think we're going to ride in the truck.
I'm not sure the three of us would get along making it from Bristol to Talladega, much less Miami to Phoenix.
We've tried a little bit of everything in this job. Weathered a few storms along the way, and always have a good time talking about our trucks. See if we can get this second stage rolling. A little bit of trouble getting going here. Such a shame for Brad Perez and Greg Van Oss. That was a big crash into turn one.
Yeah, we looked at that during the commercial break, and it looked possibly maybe a throttle hung on Greg Van Oss's truck. When it did, then he locked the brakes up, and that just drove that truck straight into Brad Perez. Certainly nothing Brad could do about it, and if the throttle hung, nothing Greg Van Oss could do about it.
Going to be 39 laps to go in stage 2 when we return to the green flag. Hyman Infinger on row 1. Eckes up there. How about William Sawalich inside of row 2 for the restart? The 16-year-old making his presence known.
All right, 4 laps shy of the halfway mark. Green flag back in the air for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at Milwaukee. Hopefully we can get more than just one corner in prior to this next yellow. We are scheduled to have at least one more with the end of stage 2 obviously having to have happened yet. Corey Heim, who won the race off of the pit lane, is the reason why he was able to get out in front of Grant Enfinger. Now we'll get to see what the 23 truck will be like in traffic as he restarted to the inside of row 1. Obviously couldn't stay with Corey Heim, but he does quickly jump in front of the 19 truck of Eckes to take over second place off of turn 4. William Sawalich trying to put a challenge now to Eckes for third place as they're side-by-side on the front straightaway. Nick Sanchez has fallen back to 5th after running second at the end of stage 1. He lost multiple positions on pit road. Eckes hanging on strong right now. Sawalich down in the bottom lane, but it'll be William Sawalich who nearly clears off of turn 2. Might have had a chance in the middle of the corner, but was very patient. Not trying to push the issue with the playoff driver to his outside and cut him off there, so he cut him a little bit of slack. Eckes crowds the one most of the way through turns 3 and 4 as he tries to fight to get to the bottom. as he is still keeping up with Grant Enfinger despite battling the one truck as hard as he is right now. 3 wide further back in the pack into turn 1, right around where Stuart Friesen is. Most of those trucks battling for the free pass position, I believe. Daniel Dye in there as well. Almost contact between Colby Howard in the 9 and Stuart Friesen in the 52 as it came up off of turn 4. Connor Jones also in the mix. Again, all battling to be the first truck 1 lap down to the next caution, or of course the stage 2 end, whatever comes first. De Benedetto still a lap down trying to get some spots. He is the second to first car that is 1 lap down, only behind Stuart Friesen. So that'll be a good battle between the 52 and the 25 for that free pass spot here to the end of this stage, assuming that no other trucks go a lap down over the next 35 laps. Bailey Curry into the back of Ben Rhodes in the 99, hanging on that rear bumper most of the way through 3 and 4, and they're 3 wide now off the exit of the corner is the 16. Tyler Anker going to get himself in the battle as well. Curry getting boxed in, nowhere to go with the 16 underneath him, and of course all over the back of the 99 in front of him. Ty Majeski over the last 2 restarts has already gained 10 positions from 22nd to 12th. Slingshotting back to the outside of Tanner Gray in the 15, who's going to get back alongside of Majeski. Majeski at his home track, of course, a Wisconsin native, is the driver of the 98. Trying to go for back-to-back wins. He has only won 3 times in his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series career. All 3 were playoff races, including 2 last season in the round of 8 where he went back-to-back. So he went back-to-back in the playoffs last year for his only 2 wins last season. We'll see if maybe he goes back-to-back this year for his only 2 wins of 2023. Got a little bit of a ways to go. As for lap times with the leaders, Corey Heim was about a tenth slower than Grant Enfinger, who was in traffic just behind him. Enfinger led the first 60 laps of the race today before Corey Heim has now led the last 17, mostly during yellow, some during green flag conditions here early in the stage. Matt Crafton and Chase Purdy running very close to one another. They're battling for position. Crafton's done a great job getting his truck into the top 10 for qualifying 22nd. Didn't get any stage points there in stage 1, but now is up to 9th and is all over Purdy, looking to the inside off turn 4. I've noticed more trucks have gotten to the inside battling for position off turn 4 than turn 2 today, and I thought it was just the initial start with Sanchez trying to battle for the lead with Enfinger, but I've seen that through most of the field today. It almost just seems like the inside lane in 3 and 4 just has more grip than in 1 and 2. Not sure for whatever reason why that is the case. I think, if I remember correctly, turn 2 is a little bit wider off the exit of the corner, and turn 4 it might be just a bit more narrow, so maybe that is what allows for the truck on the outside to get a better run off turn 2 than turn 4 in that outside lane, so that could be one of the reasons why that has been the case so far today, but it's just something I've kind of picked up on over these first 80 laps. Matt Crafton back to the inside of Taylor Gray, kind of picking him up and putting him down now as he's looking to challenge for 7th. I'll tell you what, if him and Majeski have similar speed in this one, maybe don't count Matt Crafton out of a shot to potentially win this race. Right along that curbing / yellow paint on the inside of 3 and 4, it looked like both the 88 and the 17 kind of sliding through the corner. Looked like Gray might have been dirt tracking a little bit more than what Crafton was, but Crafton seemed to have still lost a bit of time. And he continues to stay to the bottom of the track even through turns 1 and 2 while Gray runs a slightly wider line. That allows for Crafton to get a bit of clean air on the nose, but maybe not as good of a drive off as, again, we have seen off that corner. Into 3 and 4, both trucks back to the very bottom once again. Enfinger continues to try to run down Corey Heim. Again, he was about another 900ths of a second faster the last lap. We are down to 29 laps to go in stage 2. And we are on lap 82 of 175 in the race today. Your top 10 currently in the intervals between those positions. Corey Heim is the race leader, 0.4 of a second over Grant Enfinger in second. Christian Eckes is 1.6 seconds off the lead in third. William Sowlich in 4th place is 2.5 seconds off the lead. Nick Sanchez is in 5th, 2.8 seconds off the lead. Carson Hocevar is in 6th place, 3.5 seconds back. Taylor Gray in 7th is 5.9 seconds off the lead. Matt Crafton 6 seconds back in 8th. Chase Purdy is 7 seconds off the lead in 9th. And Derek Kraus back in the top 10 as he's 7.9 seconds back of the race leader Corey Heim. A win and you advance to the next round. That is what is on the line. Top 3, all playoff drivers, and 5 of the top 6 are all in the playoffs right now. So there's a very good opportunity that we will see somebody different advance, considering that none of those drivers are Majeski, who has already locked himself into the next round with the win at IRP in the first race of the round of 10. We'll stay right here with our live commentary coverage and not take a break this time around. Once again, be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, live commentary streams just like this today for NASCAR Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series races every weekend. Next weekend, the NASCAR, Xfinity, and Cup Series will be at Darlington. Trucks will be off. So, hope to see you guys for that one. Saturday afternoon for the Xfinity Series race. And I'll pull the start times up real quick while we're on this commercial break for FS1. But next Saturday, I believe the Xfinity Series is in the afternoon. I do know the Cup Series is a Sunday night race, as it usually is for Darlington, with it being on a holiday weekend in the U.S., Labor Day weekend. So next weekend, we will go live for the NASCAR Cup Series race at Darlington at 5:30. So again, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time next Sunday. We will go live for the Cookout Southern 500 with our pre-race coverage. And then for the Xfinity Series race on Saturday, we don't have a pre-race show usually with the Xfinity and Cup races. The Xfinity race will be at 3:30 on Saturday afternoon. So again, 3:30 Saturday afternoon for the Darlington Xfinity race, and the Cup race will be at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday night. Side by side for the lead following the commercial break as Grant Enfinger has caught Corey Heim. Very close quarters racing through turns 3 and 4. 25 laps left in the stage. Enfinger again looking to the bottom on Heim. Not going to be able to complete the pass yet. Both trucks sliding around quite a bit. Enfinger came way off the bottom lane that time. And probably the tougher of the two corners to hold the bottom underneath another race truck. Did a great job not making contact with the 11. And now he's going to run a bit higher through 3 and 4, trying to build up a run now. Heim more in that middle group through turns 3 and 4. Grant Enfinger goes a little bit wider to the outside. It almost looked as if Corey Heim might have actually just done a better job all the way around that last corner. Now through turns 1 and 2, Heim sailed it off to the bottom there initially, widens his corner out to the top, and kind of stays up there. So he's kind of half diamonding the corner off, it looks like at turns 1 and 2, at least to try to make sure the 23 doesn't get underneath him getting in. And then from the exit of the corner, just kind of staying in the dirty air, or keeping the 23 in the dirty air by running the same line off the exit. So a modified line in turns 1 and 2 here for Heim, but pretty consistent around the middle of the top groove in turns 3 and 4. Doesn't go quite as low in his entry into turn 1 this time. Maybe didn't like how the truck felt, as Enfinger did seem to gain on him a little bit the last lap. This lap, they stayed pretty stagnated with one another. Enfinger closing a bit in whatever draft he can get on the back straightaway. Again, puts the challenge to Heim on the outside. Enfinger gets a really good drive in the center of 3 and 4. They cut the camera right as he was getting to the back bumper, which I did not appreciate. Trying to call that battle for the lead. They pan now to Ty Majeski, who has broken into the top 10, passing Chase Purdy on the outside through turns 3 and 4. So Majeski into the top 10 now for the first time today. Was 11th at the end of stage 1. He's had to restart it at the back of the field on multiple occasions. Slowly trying to get himself up there and in contention. And again, Corey Heim holding on to the lead. Jeski's got a little bit of time to gain to try to catch Zane Smith for the next spot. And Matt Crafton's still been right behind Taylor Gray as they've been battling for position for quite some time now. Again, still for 7th. There's a little bit over a 6-second gap between the 6th place truck of Hocevar and then the battle for 7th going on between Gray and Crafton. That's how hard those two are battling with each other. And as this battle for the lead continues, Christian Eckes running similar lap times to that of Enfinger and Corey Heim, and may have a chance of catching them if these two use their tires up a little early into the run. Still 19 laps to go yet in stage 2. Heim's been so close so many times to getting passed by Grant Enfinger, but Enfinger has not been able to seal the deal yet. Pretty clean battle between these two. at least for right now. We'll see if Enfinger maybe tries to use the bumper at some time if he can get there. But he has to get there first. Off turn 4, Heim got a little loose, almost scraped the outside wall, and here comes Enfinger with a run into 1 and 2. Heim started really low in the entry again, similar to what he did a few laps ago. Raises way up in the middle of the corner. Enfinger trying to pin his race truck down to the bottom a little bit more to try to get underneath the 11, and again just can't get alongside Heim's race truck. Enfinger charges the corner a little harder into turn 3, definitely later into the braking zone than what Corey Heim was. We'll see if he can apply the throttle quicker. Off turn 4, he's not going to be able to. Again, still nose to tail for the race lead. Great battle right now between Corey Heim and Grant Enfinger at the front of the field. Eck is still about 1.9 seconds behind them. And it looks like Matt Crafton was finally able to pass Taylor Gray for position, so Crafton moving up to 8th. And Gray trying to put the battle back to Crafton as he gets to his outside through turns 1 and 2. Enfinger finally gets to the inside of Heim. Second time he's been able to do so off turn 4. Will he hold it in 1 and 2 is the next question. Remember, turns 1 and 2 in that bottom lane, not as much grip. Enfinger's going to drive it in deep. Is he going to be able to get it to stick? This time around, he slides up the racetrack. He's going to be clear of Corey Heim, but he might have slid up a little bit too wide. Heim's going to try the crossover to the inside, but he's too far back. 2 car lengths and more gaining on the backstretch. Great corner by Grant Enfinger to not only make the pass, but as he slid up the racetrack to still get back to the gas, keep the rear tires from sliding out from underneath him too much to still pull away from Corey Heim. What an impressive move by one of the championship contenders as Grant Enfinger takes the race lead again here in Stage 2. 15 laps to go in the stage for right now as Fox Sports 1 will take a full-screen commercial break. You're listening live on KRC on this YouTube channel. We will not take a break at this point, but we will go through the full field running order one more time as we are at lap 95 of 175. Grant Enfinger now has taken the race lead away from Corey Heim, who sits in second, Christian Eckes in third, William Sawalich in fourth, Nick Sanchez fifth, Carson Hocevar in sixth, Matt Crafton seventh, Taylor Gray eighth, Ty Majeski ninth, and Zane Smith is 10th. Tanner Gray in 11th, Chase Purdy 12th, Ben Rhodes 13th, Derek Kraus 14th, and Tyler Ankrum is 15th. Dean Thompson in 16th, Bailey Curry in 17th, Jake Garcia 18th, Colby Howard 19th, Raja Caruth in 20th, Brett Holmes in 21st, Sean Hingorani in 22nd, Connor Jones 23rd, Haley Deegan 24th, Matt Mills 25th, Wallace Allen 26th. Matt DiBenedetto is the first driver one lap down at 27th. We'll see if he holds on to that spot to the end of the stage. Stuart Friesen right behind him in 28th, Daniel Dye 29th, and Tyler Hill is 30th. 31st is Josh Reaume, Derek Lemke in 32nd. I don't know why I said Lewis. Spencer Boyd in 33rd. Greg Van Als out of the race 34th. Same for Brad Perez, who will finish 35th. And Josh Balicki will finish last in 36th, having his flat tire early at lap 9. Only 2 drivers have led today, and 2 lead changes amongst them. Enfinger's led 62 laps and counting as he's back out in front. He won Stage 1, which was his second Stage win of the year, and Corey Heim led for 35 laps before Enfinger was finally able to get back around for the lead. Took some time, but finally was able to do so. It just goes to show you don't want to lose too much track position. So the next pit stop during the Stage 2 break, which could be the last one, is going to be very, very vital. Simeon Walter, thanks for tuning in the stream. Thomas Roth, welcome in as well. FJ Rocks T. SC1212 Abel, I think I might have shouted you out already, but thanks for tuning in, guys. What happened to Stu to go lap? He's just been off the pace. That team has not been fast on short tracks this year. They've been far from it, to be honest. Yeah, Friesen is just off. 52 team has not had good speed on short tracks, and the same kind of has been the case for DiBenedetto over the last couple weeks, too. They were able to make the turnaround in the final stage at IRP. They're getting trapped a lap down this time around here today at Milwaukee, which he did not have that problem at IRP. Maybe just a little bit slower here this weekend for the 25 team. It's going to be very tough for him to try to crack the top 15 for the end of the race once again. Enfinger's quickly pulled away from Heim, and Christian Eckes was not able to close that gap down any more than 1.9 seconds. And in fact, after Corey Heim stopped battling with Enfinger, and the 23 was able to finally get around him, Heim is still running faster lap times than that of Eckes in third, as he was about 0.2 quicker than Eckes, and Enfinger about 0.4 quicker than Eckes. the last lap or so. Ty Majeski's gained a couple of positions during the commercial break as he moves to 7th place, passing Craftsman and Zane Smith during the break.
Ahead of the race, a stat here at Milwaukee is that no driver has won here starting below the 8th position, and he just smiled at me and said, well, it's a good thing that I'm starting 8th, but he said the theme of the race here today is going to be saving tires. Maybe that was on display here when Grant made that pass.
You know, to that point, we have seen the long green flag run play out. We had an early caution stage 1, early caution stage 2. After that, it's been all about what you can do over the long haul.
It's so important. Remember that number 34. That's how many laps Corey Heim led. That's how many laps it took Grant Enfinger to wrestle the lead away from after losing it on pit road to Corey Heim.
Matt DiBenedetto has been in the free pass position all of this whole stage, but that's getting ready to go away, Phil. This is a tough break. He needs a caution flag right now because Josh, he's getting ready to be second in line to get the free pass. Tough day for this 25 truck.
Yeah, it's a tough day, and what a difference a day makes. Because I talked to Matty D yesterday, and he felt really good about his truck. Told me he had a top 10 truck. Told me maybe even a truck that could contend for a win. Then today, much different. That truck has been just way too tight. He's been battling with the throttle all day long, and he just can't push it the way he wants. And this is a guy that was telling me, hey, we don't need to be better than the rest of the field. It's just those playoff drivers. We need to be better than 2 of them over the next 2 races to advance to the next round. But he's not able to get what he wants out of this race today, guys.
Yeah, and right behind him, here comes trouble again. Put him 2 laps down. If Grant Enfinger can get there, it's going to be close, Phil.
A lot of the crew chiefs agreed with what Josh was saying, that was one of the best trucks yesterday. Don't know, maybe they have some sort of an issue, but as you mentioned, he certainly doesn't want that yellow truck behind him to get by him before the end of this stage.
9 of our 10 playoff drivers are 11th or better, and Matt is struggling.
And he came in below the playoff cut line, so not a ton of margin for error when you talk about that 25 team making a playoff for the very first time. Matt won last year in the postseason, but was not championship eligible. Got it done at Talladega Super Speedway. They've had a wonderful year, but unfortunately a bit behind when it comes to how things are going here this afternoon.
We see the 42 of Hocevar. He's taken over that 4th spot. We saw Sawalich in the 1 right side of your screen battling Christian Eckes for that spot. Eckes was able to drive away, and now Hocevar is coming up to try to grab that 3rd spot from Eckes.
Circle the 42. Good on the long run. Boy, a bit of a bobble there. That was tight.
Lemke in the 33. You can see the damage on the side of that truck. Got into the outside wall. NASCAR keeps it clean and green right now as Daniel Dye closes in the back of the 33.
Looks like he's okay. Looks like the tires are up, at least for now, for Lemke.
Look at the gap now for Enfinger. He'll see 3 laps to go in the stage. This time around, the advantage over 2 seconds. Heim almost a little over 4 seconds in front of 3rd place Christian Eckes.
Haley Deegan there just ahead of Enfinger. She's the next truck to go a lap down.
Grant's going to move to the inside. 3 laps to go in this stage.
She and Connor Jones running along there. Man, he's fast, isn't he?
Through the center of the corner. That truck has to be turning for him to be able to do that.
Update on our friend Ty Majeski after his up and down day. 2nd fastest truck last time by, and he's up to the 7th position.
We saw Grant running that extremely high line during the ARCA Menards race, and that was one of the reasons for him to run that ARCA Menards race. Had never been here before. What can he learn about this racetrack? He was the guy that ran the highest in that ARCA race, even though a little bit looser, a little bit of a bobble. But he's making it work here tonight, or this afternoon.
1 lap to go, 2nd stage. Enfinger won the 1st stage, trying to get a sweep for the 2nd time in his career. This for 3rd, Eckes and Hocevar.
Championship contenders here battling for a spot inside the top 3 here in stage 2 of Milwaukee. Look how high they're going. Must be getting the word from the spotters. Going up there.
Without a doubt. Grant's making it work, guys, and he's the fastest truck.
Get out the broom. Grant Enfinger came to play. Wins the pole, wins stage 1, And he takes stage 2 as well. Last time he pulled off the sweep of a pair of stages, got to go back to 2019 when he delivered in St. Louis. Heim, who led the early portion of stage 2, was second. Eckes, Hocevar, Sawalich, the top 5. A championship is on the line. The next step in our quest to the title today at the Milwaukee Mile.
So Grant Enfinger, as you heard right there, gets the sweep of the stages today at Milwaukee, winning his second and third stages of the season. That will now give him 2 extra playoff points that will carry into the next round, assuming he makes it to the next round, which going to be pretty comfortable in points coming into the race. And even if he has something of an issue here today, he has already gotten a lot of stage points, which will only help that even more. Enfinger ended up winning the stage by about 2 seconds over Corey Heim, who was second. Christian Eckes third in the stage. Carson Hocevar fourth, so top 4 all playoff drivers. William Sawalich was 5th place. Nick Sanchez 6th. Ty Majeski 7th. Matt Crafton 8th. Tanner Gray in 9th. Zane Smith 10th. So playoff drivers starting to rise through the field a little bit more. Stage 1, only 6 of 10 finished in the top 10. Stage 2, 8 of 10 finished in the top 10, including 7 of the top 8. Sawalich, the only outlier, as well as Gray back in 9th. So we'll see how that will end up going. And honestly, all the playoff drivers are up in the top 11, except for DiBenedetto, who is trapped 2 laps down at the end of that last stage, unfortunately, back at 27th. Free pass going to go to Connor Jones in the 66 truck, so we'll have 24 drivers on the lead lap to begin this stage. And sitting at just the 2 different leaders in this race. And this is our 4th caution of the day. We've had 2 for incident and now 2 stage cautions so far. Current average race speed, 89.53 miles per hour. And we will have our second pit stops of the race during the next break. So you'll get to listen into those pit stops. And I'll leave the poll open because I didn't get it up in the chat until a little bit after the start of the race today. So with 50 laps to go, we will close the poll. We're at 66 votes right now for who you think will win the race. Other at 50%, Corey Heim at 11% of the votes, Hocevar 17%, Enfinger with 23%. Got a couple of die-casts to show off. I didn't show any during the Xfinity race the other night, so we got 2 of them with our die-cast showing here at the Stage 2 break, as we usually have for these NASCAR live commentary streams. For no rhyme or reason, I'm showing these 2 die-casts specifically. Again, I got to get the 1/64 scale die-cast into my apartment and get them from my house. So until then, I'm going to kind of have to keep showing similar ones I've shown throughout the year. Haven't shown this one in a while, though. A nice classic Pennzoil paint scheme from 2003 for Jeff Burton in the 99. Ford Taurus. Kind of basic colors. I've always liked the Pennzoil cars, though, the way they look. Not just because I'm a Team Penske fan with a Ryan Blaney fan, but I just think that the colors look well. This one may be a little more plain, but the number 99 had to have a die-cast of the number 99. I think this is the first one I ended up buying. 99 was the number I drove when I raced quarter midgets and go-karts and stuff growing up, so that was always kind of my favorite go-to number. So I got that. And while that is going on, we've got pit stops taking place.
It felt like a grind, but this truck was as loose as it was in Richmond earlier today. They're working on finding some grip. Josh?
Impressive run so far for the 1 of William Sawalich. He said his biggest issue is getting to the 3, and he needs a little more drive off as far as the 19 of Christian Eckes. He said he needs more drive, needs more stability. He needs that truck similar to what he had at IRP. We had a runner-up finish, guys.
Eckes gets 2 spots, wins the race off pit road, and for the second straight time, Grant Enfinger leads. Gets trapped in. He lost 3 spots this time, back to the 4th position.
Same thing happened to Majeski. Looked like a pretty solid pit stop. Then I think he was blocked in.
It looked like maybe Grant leading the race could have maybe stopped a little shorter in his box. You can see the angle he has right here. You see the Ford truck with the back end hanging out. When they finish the stop, there's nothing that Grant can do other than just back up.
But you saw the back of his truck. It was really at the back line. But you see the front of the Ford truck right at the front line. So small pit stops. I mean, small pit stalls at Milwaukee.
You know, when you're leading, maybe you just come in and angle out a little bit better. But like you said, Phil, small stalls, just a bad break.
Enfinger came into this race 24 points above the cut line, gets all 20 stage points available in the first 2 stages today. Heim with a good afternoon, same for Eckes. Sanchez double digits when it comes to points scored. Hocevar got 12. Majeski and Crafton also scoring some points. The final stage on the way on FS1.
The second diecast showing, because again I didn't show one the other night for the Xfinity race, and obviously for the Cup race yesterday, so we got two. Elliott Sadler, and I believe this is 2003. You can see the Winston Cup logo on the side of it still. It is a pedigree paint scheme. Classic. I always like this one because I like dogs, and there's dogs on the car, so who doesn't like that? Even the Kyle Busch pedigree paint schemes have kind of had similar things. It looks like there's a golden retriever on the side of the car, but yeah, you always like to see the little doggies on the car, the little doggos. So Elliott Sadler always had some good paint schemes back in the day. And this was one of them, obviously. So, always like the blue and yellow cars. I mention that all the time whenever I seem to have a blue and yellow car on these diecast showing, blue, gold, whatever. So, I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan, so that kind of plays into it. I'm sure there's some sort of bias into that, but I just like the way the colors pop. I feel like they blend well together. Old maize and blue. We'll take a quick break. We'll get back into the Stage 3 action on the other side. Be sure to like and subscribe again for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream. We are up to 59. And again, 4.6 thousand subscribers is what we're trying to hit here today. Coming into the stream, I might have to pull up my YouTube studio real quick. I won't do it on screen, but I'll pull up the YouTube studio app real quick. Oh my gosh, the Tigers lost 17-4 today. Oh my goodness. My poor Tigers. They haven't had a beat down against them like that in a while. Like shades of 2019. I wanted to see how many subscribers we were up to. Did we hit 4.6 yet? Gotta be getting close. We're 4 away. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely do so. We need 4 more subscribers to get to 4.6 thousand. We have one more stage of racing yet to go here today. Yeah, we're just going to ignore that squeaky toy. Whenever we hear it, do not acknowledge it. It's not that you guys drive me nuts with it. It's because I tried to, like, tune it out as much as I possibly can. Because I feel like it makes these streams look unprofessional. But I'm put in a situation where my sister works while I'm streaming as of the last, like, 3 weekends, so you can hear the squeaky toy going on in the background when she's playing with her toys. So, I mean, at least she's being good. Not peeing on the carpet like she did that one time, so there's that. All right, we'll take a quick break, and then we will get back to the action here for Stage 3.
Since 2009, the Craftsman Truck Series racing at the Milwaukee Mile. It's race 2 in the playoffs. Chasing down the title in 2023 this afternoon. It's the Clean Harbors 175. Pit Road has been a busy place today. Could very well decide the outcome of this race.
Been a challenge for the 98 at Tom Majeski. We saw what happened on the first end of the stage. Watch here. He takes off, goes forward. He's blocked in by Corey Heim. Has to stop in reverse and then take off again. And he's going to restart 10th. I thought he had a pretty solid pit stop, and then he spent probably 4 or 5 seconds trying to get backed up so he can get around the 11 of Corey Heim.
Doubled up. He's on the outside in the 10th position. This is when you got to pounce, though, Phil. These guys get side by side, 3 and 4 wide, maybe. Try to grab some spots early. We've seen how difficult it is for even Grant, the fastest truck, to make a pass.
Enfinger led 79 laps today, 34 for Heim. Christian Eckes with the field in tow for the first time this afternoon. He has control of the...
So Grant Enfinger going to be on the inside of row 2 for the restart, losing multiple positions on pit road. They have not won a race out of the pit so far of the 2 today. Green flag back in the air. Stage 3 will begin. Christian Eckes, Carson Hocevar in the front row. Eckes had a slip up in the outside lane, and Hocevar's got the lead off turn 2 for the first time today. As they run down the back straightaway, Hocevar out in front, 3 wide in the back half of the top 10. Go the 7 and the 88 as they split the 1 of Saulich, now trying to do the same with Corey Heim. 7 truck there, Derek Kraus really hanging on that right rear corner panel, not giving himself and Heim a lot of room, but Heim will still pull clear off turn 4. Ben Rhodes also side-by-side fourth position with the 15 truck of Tanner Gray. And Ty Majeski, trapped behind both trucks, is now into a race-high 7th place position, trying to go for more spots at his home track. On the outside lane, he's going to get by Corey Heim, or stay in front of Corey Heim, I should say, as he was already in front of him. And his teammate Matt Crafton back to the inside of the 11 truck again. Crafton going to be able to pull clear. Seems like there's been a lot of great takeoff from that 88 truck. He not only gets by Heim, but he nearly cleared Ty Majeski as well. He gave his teammate a little bit of respect on the outside. It's going to be a lot harder for him to complete the pass in 1 and 2. We'll see if he can do it. Up into the marbles goes Majeski as he overdrove the corner. That allows for about 4 trucks to pass him through turns 1 and 2. Vital positions lost there for the 98 if he wants to get into contention to win the race. Just don't think he's quite had the speed today that it might have looked like he had in the early going. Once he got up there with faster trucks, he's kind of been stagnated in the back half of the top 10. And his fight, again, gets harder after that slight misjudgment in turns 1 and 2 the last lap. Enfinger fell to 4th on the restart, by the way, behind Sanchez, Eckes, and Hocevar. And again, Hocevar is the race leader, 0.2 of a second out ahead of Eckes. He got the 3rd right at the end of stage 2. And now we will see if he's going to be able to hold on for a long period of time. Corey Heim had the lead at the beginning of stage 2. He held on for 35 laps before Grant Enfinger was able to get back around him. And Enfinger only fell to 2nd on that last restart, falling to 4th here. It might take even longer for the 23 to get up there. And how much of his tires is he going to use before he gets by Enfinger, or gets by Sanchez and Eckes before he even gets a chance to get to Hocevar? How much time will he be behind Hocevar by the time he gets through those first 2 trucks in front of him? Because right now he's a 1.5 seconds behind Hocevar, and he's already almost a full second behind Nick Sanchez. Eckes is not letting the 42 drive away, though. Only about 1/10 of a second separating the two, and only 9/1000ths of a second quicker that last lap was Eckes over Hocevar as well. Our first live commentary stream of the weekend, we had a photo finish on Friday night's Xfinity Series race. We'll see how much of a tight race it'll be down the stretch here. In this one, the difference of the win was only 5/1000ths of a second for Justin Allgaier getting his first career win at Daytona. And as for Carson Hocevar, he'll get to hold on to the lead for at least a few laps longer because the caution flag is out for the 5th time today. 12th truck of Spencer Boyd has spun in turns 1 and 2. Wait to see the replay if anybody else was collected. The caution is out with 51 laps remaining at the Milwaukee Mile. It looks like he just lost it in the middle of the corner, slipped out from underneath him. 22 truck was behind him, but he was a few truck lengths behind him. Mid-slide there by the 12, so it looked like Boyd just kind of lost it on his own. Maybe got too much of the apron. Whatever the case was, Spencer Boyd spinning, bringing out another caution. Been racing for a little bit under an hour and a half to this point today. Full straight commercial break during the caution flag period on FS1. We'll stay right here. The dog herd pedigree, yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, somebody, was it Delbert in the chat that mentioned something about potentially having 5 cautions was his prediction today? And that was not counting stage yellow, so. And we're up to 3 non-stage yellow cautions to this point. Becca Chatlow's Paul Speck, thanks for tuning in. Recent newcomers into the chat. Did I have a bunch of rain from the hurricane? No, I don't live anywhere close enough shoreline to get any rain from that. I live in northwest Ohio. Toledo, Ohio. Suburbs of it, at least. I mean, like, if I told people where I was from, they wouldn't know where I'm from. If I just say Toledo, it's easier for me to do that. So, yeah, pretty much Toledo, Ohio. Oh, you guessed 6. Did you change your guess? I thought you said 5 earlier. Maybe somebody else said 5. Billy said 4. Might have had somebody else guess 5. Yeah, we tend to see a lot of cautions at the end of truck races, so we'll see if this will start to breed more and more yellows here the closer we get to the end. I don't know. Still under commercial. Once again, there was the point standings coming into the race today. Obviously, they fluctuated quite a bit considering the fact that we have gotten 2 stages in the books. Based off of where drivers are running right now and how they've positioned themselves versus where they came in today, obviously Grant Enfinger winning the first 2 stages, plus 24 coming in. He's looking pretty good, especially if he continues to run top 5 like he is right now. Zane Smith's kind of been back half of the top 10 for most of the day through the first 2 stages, so he's probably going to be pretty much about where he was on the cutoff line coming into the day when you consider the fact that Nick Sanchez and Matt Crafton were pretty much right around him for most of this race, at least at the finishing of the first 2 stages. So Zane Smith's probably going to get passed by Enfinger easily in points, but I think he'll be able to stay ahead of Rhodes, Sanchez, and Crafton still, again, right around the 29-point differential he had coming in, give or take maybe a few points, assuming, obviously, he doesn't get into any incidences the rest of this race. Carson Hocevar, Christian Eckes, Corey Heim, they all received double-digit stage points along with Grant Enfinger, so there's a very good chance that they're going to be probably plus 50 or more leaving this race. There is actually a chance that those guys could lock themselves into the next round if they are 60 or more points ahead of 7th in the standings. Following this race today, they will lock themselves in on points going into the next round, and they won't have to worry about what goes down in Bristol either in a few weeks. So again, 2 more off weeks for the Truck Series the next couple weeks before the round of 10 finale at Bristol on the half mile. And there will be no live commentary stream for the NASCAR race weekend for Bristol, as I will be at the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series races, ARCA 2 on Thursday, so there will be race highlights from the grandstands for all 4 of those races that weekend. So it's going to be a while before the next Truck Series live commentary stream on the channel. I guess the next one after that would be Talladega, I believe, which is like the last weekend of September, so. Or first weekend of October, actually. Crazy. Points as they run right now to be, in fact, Crafton's -6, came in -2 to Sanchez, and Sanchez has had a pretty solid day from a stage point standpoint. Qualifying on the front row definitely helped that for stage 1. He's plus 19 as they run. He came in +2, so massive gain for Sanchez. Still needs to stay out of trouble the rest of the day today, and obviously for Bristol, the rookie may be able to get through the first round of the playoffs. About to head into the Geico restart zone. We'll have 46 laps to go in this race. When we get back to racing here, Carson Hocevar on the outside of row 1. Got the lead from the inside of row 1 after Eckes overdrove the corner of the restart. We'll see if Carson can hang on to the lead as the green flag is back in the air at Milwaukee. Pretty decent launch by that truck on the bottom of Eckes as he stays to the door. The 42 car into turns 1 and 2. Hanging on the left rear corner panel for about as long as he could, but Hocevar does get a good drive. 3, nearly 4 wide, middle of the pack off of turn 2. Side by side for second place now between Eckes and Sanchez. Sanchez up into P3. Grant Enfinger quickly to the outside lane as he restarted in the inside of row 2 once again, and he will try to remain in 4th. He does have Tanner Gray underneath him, but I think he's going to be able to hold on as he has a lot of straightaway speed down the front. 3 wide in the back half of the top 10 around Kraus, Majeski, and Crafton. 8th, 9th, and 10th. And Carson Hocevar has about a 2 to 3 truck length advantage now over Sanchez, who takes over second from Christian Eckes through 1 and 2. So for the second consecutive restart, Eckes is going to lose 1 spot, falling from the lead to second on the second to last restart. Now this one losing a couple positions. A block gone wrong there on the front stretch for the ThorSport trucks of Ben Rhodes and Matt Crafton. Rhodes was 3 wide middle off turn 4. He moved down in front of the 88, but he sideswiped him as he wasn't clear. Very fortunate not to cause both trucks to crash there. but definite contact that seemed to have slowed up Rhodes maybe a little more than Craftsman, as Gray was able to get back around the 99. And now that they're showing the replay, it actually was the 99 getting squeezed between the two trucks, it looked like. It still might have been on the fault of the 99, but it wasn't a block on the 88. It was actually him pushing a little bit wide off of turn 4, making contact with Gray, who was all the way up near the wall anyway, so he didn't have really anywhere to go. So definitely on road still, but it wasn't a block. Pushing too hard to try to get to the gas as quickly as he could off turn 4. That cost him those couple positions. William Sowledge trying to fight back after a couple of slow pit stops in this race have cost him a little bit of track position. He was as high as 3rd place earlier on in the race, and as of right now, he is running in the 10th place position, though he just passed Ben Rhodes, it looks like, for 9th on the racetrack. Actually, no, that was Majeski he just passed, and now he's working on Rhodes for 9th as he gets to his inside off turn 2. Turns 3 and 4 a little bit better on the inside lane, so if Sowledge could hang on, he'll have a good chance to try to pass Rhodes. Lab truck coming into the pits there at the back of the field will stay green. Right in front of the leaders, was off the pace for a moment. Christian Eckes had the fastest lap of anybody that last lap. Each of the top 5 had the 5 fastest lap times. Caution is out once again for the 6th time, and unfortunately it is the rookie and the 16-year-old who has had a brilliant day behind the wheel. William Sowledge has backed it into the outside wall off of turn 2. And a lot of damage to the rear tailgate of that race truck, which is going to end his day prematurely. Left front's also got a bit of a tie rub, and we'll wait to see a replay of exactly what happened there, but unfortunately William Sowledge bringing out this caution flag. That is a tough break. I mean, he was having such a great day. Looked like he overdrove it in turns 1 and 2. Slipped up the racetrack quite a bit. He was battling with Ben Rhodes. Yeah, he just lost it. Overdrove the corner. He was sliding, and once he made contact with the 99, as he couldn't slide up any further without taking him out, it looked like the one ended up spinning. And luckily, he didn't take Rhodes with him, considering Rhodes is one of the playoff drivers, but a tough break for Sowledge, who was definitely the best of the non-playoff drivers throughout the course of the race today. From a speed and driving standpoint, unfortunately, the rookie making a rookie mistake there in turns 3 and 4, pushing a little bit over the edge of his race truck there for what he could handle, causing this caution. Perry, thanks for tuning in. What happened to Haley Deegan? What has not happened to Haley Deegan? I don't know. I mean, she's just off the pace again. I don't know what to tell you. She is back on the lead lap. I think she got the free pass during the last caution. Not this yellow, but the yellow before that. With the 12 of Spencer Boyd spinning, I think she got the free pass there. And then the free pass looks like it'll go to Lawless Allen with this William Sowledge caution, which is, again, our 6th caution of the race. So that's the second caution of stage 3. And we're roughly 20 laps, give or take, into this stage. A little more than that, a little over 25 laps in. 26 to be exact. It was 65 laps in the final stage entirely today. Still trying to make our way closer and closer to the finish. I mean, any restart could be the last you get later and later into the race. Most of these teams still have one more set of tires left, so you wonder if anybody will try to make the move to put freshies on now. Even though we haven't seen too many green flag laps during this run. Interesting stat line. Everybody's ran their fastest lap of the race in stage 3, the top 9, except for one driver, and that driver, Grant Enfinger, back in 5th. Now, some of that is because he is in traffic for really the first time today, outside of course, being in traffic in stage 2 where he fell to 2nd, but more traffic in front of him here as he's been around 3rd or 4th in this final stage despite winning stages 1 and 2, just not capitalizing on pit row, whether it was the pit crew that first stopped just getting flat out beat, by the 11, despite the 23 having that number 1 pit box. Well, not the number 1 pit box, but a preferred pit box qualified on the pole. They chose that one, and fortunately, it's not able to capitalize here. I believe there were quite a few trucks that just hit pit road during this caution flag. We get to listen into the pit stop reports.
Devastation.
37 laps to go for the Craftsman Truck Series here at Milwaukee. It's race 2 in the playoffs at this opening round. And a bit of a strategy play here. We wondered, will they pit, will they won't? Split decision when you look at the drivers running up front.
I wouldn't call it a Hail Mary, but certainly differing agendas here, and that's because there's another set of tires laying there that some people might want later in this affair. But man, Phil, 26 trucks on the lead lap? That's a tall order if you pit really late. It's going to be really interesting because our leader, Carson Hocevar, stayed out along with Derek Krause, Tanner Gray in that red, white, and blue truck.
We only had 12 laps.
They didn't even show pit stops on TV.
Hocevar says, well, I think we can stay
missed
out
the pit
and obviously
stops.
feel cool. But you see the 99 slowing down. That's because he was speeding on pit road. Tough break. This late in the going for Ben Rhodes, one of our playoff contenders.
Lawless Allen got the free pass. 45 is scored in the 25th position. And you see the number of laps since these drivers were last on pit road. Now, we've talked about Hocevar, Krause, Tanner Gray. They pitted at the end of stage 2. But behind them, Ankrum, Hangarani, Caruth, Deegan, they made a pit stop on that last caution, so their tires are a little bit better yet. And then obviously those drivers that just came down, and Christian Eckes, the first of that bunch, being shown 8th on our leaderboard.
This is going to get good. We've seen a lot of 3-wide racing. Probably going to see 4-wide now.
Will we have comers and goers?
I think it's going to be intense. I like the way the 42 restarts. I think that's going to be a big advantage to him if he's able to get out front while those guys with fresher tires all battle amongst each other. Could be what wins him the race with just 36 laps to go.
Clean air certainly doesn't hurt here, and he's going to have it more than likely. But that 7 truck of Derek Krause, as far back as he started this race, he made nice moves from the initial start. Now fought his way up into the top 5 now.
Yeah, surprised I didn't have pit stops there for you guys, but as you heard, it looks like everybody from 8th on back just hit pit road, so only the top 7 stay out and are on older tires. Carson Hocevar going to restart from the lead. He was the only playoff driver to stay out of the pits, so non-playoff drivers run positions 2 through 7. Green flag back in the air. 35 laps to go at the Milwaukee Mile as Hocevar gets the launch and will quickly be able to clear into turns 1 and 2 on the 7 truck underneath him. As long as he doesn't blow all the way through the corner, it looks like Derek Krause is going to have to just wait and slide up in line behind him. 4 wide and contact off turn 2 as Nick Sanchez just squeezed, I believe, Corey Heim into the outside wall. They're going to lose a few positions there. And now there's more trouble behind him as 2 trucks have backed into the outside wall. Nick Sanchez is one of which, and I didn't see who the other one was, but we have multiple playoff drivers getting into it there, and I almost wonder if Heim ran through the 2 after he got squeezed into the wall off turn 2. They were 4 wide, so it wasn't like it was all Sanchez's fault. I'd like to hope that Corey Heim didn't take him out intentionally. We'll have to wait and see on this upcoming replay of what happened in turns 3 and 4, but Sanchez was 19 points to the good as they ran, and that will not be the case anymore as, yeah, Corey Heim just ran into him. Now, it did look like Haley Deegan kind of checked up in the outside lane. Sanchez saw that, got out of the gas. Heim was in line behind the 2 and probably didn't see the 13 check in the middle of the corner, and then the 2 got spun as a result. So I'd like to think that that is probably what happened. Yeah, the 13 just being slower on those older tires kind of stacked up those 2 trucks on top of each other. But the corner before that, yeah, Heim got squeezed into the wall by Nick Sanchez there, but he also had the 23, and there was another truck underneath him as well as they were 4 wide. And we are under caution again.
It's a combination of the 2 of Sanchez slowing because of the 13 of Haley Deegan.
Yeah, she had stayed
Yeah, that's
out.
what I thought too.
On a little bit older tires.
Long way to go in the playoffs. If that was payback, we could be putting a little rivalry together here.
I don't think there was any malicious intent right there at all. I really don't.
I don't think so either.
33 remaining at Milwaukee. Hocevar, Tanner Gray, Kraus, the top three. Back in a moment on FS1.
Well, we're going to have roughly around 30 laps to go on the next restart. This is going to help Hocevar out just a little bit because that is going to add more caution laps. That's less green flag laps. He's going to have to hang on these fresher tires. Though I don't know that he's going to be able to hold on to the end, which kind of stinks because I picked Hocevar to win, but we had 8th on back on the last restart for the fresh guys on fresh tires. Now it's 6th on back with Eckes in 6th. Carruth is scored at 7th still on older tires. And then Matt Kraft and Grant Enfinger, Haley Deegan on old tires in 10th. So these drivers that stayed out of the pits, they'll have one more set of tires left the rest of this race. The problem is there's so many trucks on the lead lap, they're going to have to put themselves so far deep in the field. So I think if you're Hocevar, you're probably just committed to staying out to the end of the race at this point. Especially with the more caution laps we get, because that's going to be less green flag lap tire difference that he would have versus everybody else if he were to end up pitting again. Definitely not going to pit now as we didn't even get a full lap in between cautions there. Win and you're in the next round, so you got to do what you can. Like the salty Schneider. More of that, please. Fox makes themselves easy targets. Horrendous auto racing coverage across the board. Wish they didn't cover it all. I mean, it's just tough when I try to give you guys commentary of the race and they can't even show us pit stops. They have a commercial break going on. And it's not like it was under green, so it was like unscheduled. Like it was during caution. Like, and I mentioned that there might have been some trucks that were able to pit, like me. Granted, I know I'm a diehard NASCAR fan, so I kind of understand like what strategies could take place going into the race, but like it wasn't out of left field. Like there was a possibility that we're going to see trucks pit, and we literally had only the top 7 stay out. We had like 17 trucks pit, and we didn't see any updates on any one of them. I mean, you know what the crazy thing is with that too, that I find kind of ironic, is that the only people that Fox is paying to be at the racetrack, outside of the camera people, are the pit reporters, and they didn't even use them because they had a caution or a commercial break going on during the caution when pit stops are taking place. So, like, the only people that they can afford, or not that they can afford, but the only people that they're willing to pay to go to the racetrack, they aren't even using at the time that they need them or what they're paying them for. And then the people back in the booth has just been in the Charlotte studios ever since NBC took over the second half schedule for the Xfinity and Cup Series. They have not gotten the one-to-go signal yet, so we're going to have 28 or less laps to go on the restart.
I don't know how much damage that 2 truck has. Certainly made contact with the left side to the outside safer barrier.
Looks like he's going to be able to continue without too much problem.
Yeah, I think the key is if that steering wheel's still straight, he didn't hit that left front tire too hard, and the steering wheel's still straight, he might be able to pass some trucks.
Right now, he is shown 7 points above the playoff cut line. One of those drivers that's going to have to perform in 12 days when we head to the Heartland. It's the final race in the opening round, doing battle at Kansas, and after this night is complete, 2 of our championship contenders will be eliminated.
Love that racetrack in Kansas. I think that's one of the drivers' favorite racetracks now, the way it races. You can run from the bottom all the way to the top.
Just such a cool venue to head to Kansas. So much to do in that area.
They built a casino there for me. I mean, for people.
Friday, September 8th. All the coverage on FS1 begins 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
See those lights go out on the safety truck? We're going to choose it up, Adam.
Ooh, look out.
Oh,
was that Eckes that almost hit the triangle there?
That was close. That red triangle is what these drivers have to avoid when they pick inside or out.
I think he ran it over. I don't think he missed it.
This is so close.
Watch this white truck right here. The last second decides to go to the inside.
Oh, he did miss
Oh, my
it.
good. By inches. By inches he missed that.
He scared it.
I didn't think he missed it.
No harm, no foul there.
Eckes, the best of those drivers that came down and pitted at lap 137 for this restart. William Sawalich was a lap down after crashing moments ago. Gets the free pass. He's back on the lead lap, being scored in 26th.
What about Hangarani up in the top 5 here?
Great job.
Wow. See if he can hang on. He pitted on lap 113. Much fresher tires all over him.
You're 16 years old. You've never done this before.
28 laps to go. Again, on the front row, Hocevar and Tanner Gray, top 5 trucks rather, still on older tires. Fresh tires behind them. Green flag back in the air. Good launch for those front two in the outside lane. Eckes did not take off well despite having fresher tires than a couple of trucks in front of him in that outside lane. Enfinger trying to take advantage to the outside 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. 4 wide again off of turn 2 down the backstretch. You got the 88 and the 23 on fresh tires trying to get by the 61 and the 24 on old tires. They somehow funnel their way through 3 and 4. No incidents this time. Hocevar leads the first lap following the restart. Eckes is going to get to 4th place. He's still got side-by-side trucks in front of him of Tanner Gray and Derek Krause, rather. Enfinger whipping around the outside of the racetrack. Eckes trying to get by those trucks on the bottom. And I think Enfinger going all the way to the top, just using the fresh tires to his advantage, running maybe a little bit out of the groove, but in the open, clean air is going to be quicker. As they split around the 15 truck 3 wide, now it's down to side-by-side between Enfinger and Eckes off of turn 4. Matt Crafton gaining spots still a little bit further behind, working on Ankrum, and then he'll be underneath Tanner Gray as well. I do believe Ankrum actually might be one of those drivers on fresher tires right now, trying to keep up with Matt Crafton. Crafton clear, and he is now up to 5th place. First time Crafton's been in the top 5 here this afternoon. So Enfinger was able to get the 3rd in front of Eckes. He was all clear getting into turn 3 with ease. He's got 2 trucks on old tires in front of him still of Derek Krause and Carson Hocevar, and 25 laps left to try to get around him. Corey Heim getting squeezed into the wall a couple restarts ago. Got to get by Ankrum and Gray. 2-for-1 special in turns 1 and 2. And Majeski to the outside of the 16. He's going to push the 15 down the backstretch and then try to pass him in 3 and 4, I would have to imagine. But he gets kind of blocked there by the 15, and he's going to have to wait an extra corner to try to make the pass. Didn't get pressurized there by Chase Purdy behind him quite yet. Majeski still just can't pass the 15. He's going to go into the middle groove and try to split it 3 wide between those 2 trucks. I don't want to say Enfinger's got plenty of time to get by these guys, but I wouldn't want to be wasting too much time. He clearly has had the fastest truck today, just hasn't had the track position following the pit stops. The first pit stop that was during the stage 2 break. A little bit more time to try to make his moves now. Getting to the outside of the 7 truck off turn 4. Enfinger turns the fastest lap that last time by of anybody on the track. As he makes the clearance, Matt Crafton continues to close on the 19 of Christian Eckes. And they're both running down, of course, Krause on the older tires just in front of him. This time by at the start-finish line, just less than a half a second off the lead is Grant Enfinger versus Carson Hocevar. 22 laps left for Enfinger to make the move on the 42. Older tires there for Carson. It's going to be very difficult for him to hang on the fastest truck in the field, and the quicker Enfinger can get it around him, the quicker he can pull away. Crafton trying to use the 7 truck of Krause as a pick to get by Christian Eckes. He gets underneath him off turn 2. He's going to have a great chance to try to make the pass through 3 and 4 with the 19 still on the outside, right behind the 7. Better drive on the bottom by Crafton, who has been running right on that yellow line pretty much all day today on both ends of the track. He'll slide clear. Crossover now by Eckes as he gets to the inside off turn 4. And now he'll try to crossover move, clear into 1 and 2. And Crafton back to the inside again. Slingshotting back and forth for 4th place between Matt Crafton and Christian Eckes. And they'll be door-to-door on the backstretch again as Crafton tries to side drive. No, he cannot stay underneath the 19, but the 7, again, is still holding them both up as they battle on. They are now a second and a half or more behind the race leaders of Hocevar and Enfinger. 20 laps to go now for Carson Hocevar. Can he hold off the 23? hardest truck to pass is going to be the one with the clean air, even with older tires. We'll see if Enfinger can do it and how quickly he can potentially make the pass before the 88 and the 19 have a chance to get by Kraus and close the gap. 3 wide for third now between Eckes and Crafton as they split the 7 truck in the middle lane. Both trucks will clear the 7 of Kraus into 3 and 4. Eckes will remain in third, though, and Crafton in fourth. So they have gotten by Kraus. They're 1.7 seconds behind Hocevar, and we'll see how quickly now the 23 can get by the 42. The 19 and the 88 are coming. Enfinger needs to make quick work of Carson Hocevar. We'll watch those intervals on our screen for the time being. It's a 1.7 second difference between first and third still. Carson mirror driving at this point, just trying to predict the lane that the 23 is going to run and try to run that same lane. It's going to be difficult on a multi-groove racetrack like this, a very slick, old, worn-out surface at the Milwaukee Mile. 18 laps to go for Carson Hocevar to try to get his 4th win of the Truck Series season. And remember, whoever wins between these two would lock themselves into the next round of the playoffs. Really, the same goes for each of the top 4 if Eckes and Crafton could get in contention as well, as they would look for a win into the next round. Crafton is plus 11 points. That win would go a long way for him, compared to maybe some of these other 3 that are just in front of him that are over 50 points ahead of the cutoff line as they stand. 17 to go. Hocevar running the bottom lane, getting into the corner. That's kind of similar to what Corey Heim was running earlier in the day when he was trying to fend off the 23 truck. That's exactly what Hocevar is doing here, but might not have the grip that Heim had earlier. 1.6 seconds now. Eckes is closing, but very gradually. And Crafton not able to keep up with Eckes for the time being either. Enfinger off turn 4, not quite clear of the 42. He did get underneath him though. Hocevar side drafts him back. Door to door for the lead into turn 1. Enfinger sends it off into the corner. He's got the tires. He might have went too deep. He's up into the marbles. Sideways is Enfinger as he barely keeps it off the wall. And Hocevar is back to the inside again. 15 and a half laps to go into turns 3 and 4. Hocevar on the inside of the 23. They make contact. Up the racetrack they go. Enfinger with the lead off turn 4 and looking to drive away. Hocevar overdrove the entry and almost wiped both trucks out as they went up the groove. But after 2 slides, 2 corners in a row, Enfinger finally has the lead. Has he used up his tires too much battling Carson Hocevar? Will Christian Eckes still have a chance? We'll have to wait and see, and again monitor the lap times.
Hocevar up the road goes Grant. Hangs on to it, takes the lead.
I think Hocevar really thought Grant would run that 3rd lane like he'd been doing, and Grant said, no, I'm going to go through the middle in the 2nd lane. That's why they made contact, but a great save by Enfinger.
Both drivers have been outstanding today, combining to lead over 120 laps. And I thought once Enfinger got by, he'd start to pull away, but Hocevar is hanging in tough.
Grant may have just backed it down a little bit to try to save a little bit of tire in case he needs, in case we get a late caution flag for a restart.
Hocevar certainly giving him all he's got. Maybe he's found a little bit of a different line.
13 to go for Enfinger.
See left side of your screen, top 5 all populated by playoff drivers.
Man, Grant's hanging on. There's Nick Sanchez. We saw him in that crash. He's rallied. He's been able to stay on the lead lap, pass a couple of trucks. He's in the 24th position. Just an update on one of our playoff racers.
Right now as they run, 3 points above the cut line for Sanchez.
Thank goodness he got all those stage points today.
Majeski, what a day it's been for Majeski. He's running in 7th. Purdy's trying to grab that spot. Look at that handful of wheel he's got there, driving that baby.
Chase has really done a nice job all year long. Had a runner-up finish earlier this year for his career best.
First season, Kyle Busch Motorsports. Had a good year.
Okay, hold her down.
Keep it down. Nice job staying off that side of Majeski.
That's when Majeski's got his side. Do I give this cat a little bit extra room? He looks pretty determined.
for 7th. 10 laps to go for our leader, Grant Enfinger. Started on the pole today. Led every lap one, stage 1. Lost the lead in a pit exchange. Came from behind, won stage 2.
9 laps to go this time by. Battle for position between Matt Crafton and Corey Heim, as Crafton's really fallen off. I mean, he followed Eckes to get to 4th, and now all of a sudden he's going to fall to 5th, and he is more than 4.5 seconds off of Enfinger at the front of the field and over 3 seconds behind Christian Eckes. Eckes is about 1.7 seconds behind where Enfinger's at, and Carson Hocevar still within 7/8 tenths of a second as well. We'll take our final ad break of the race. You're listening live on KRC on the NASCAR YouTube channel, on our NASCAR YouTube channel. Sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't yet. I did not end the poll like I said I was going to with 50 laps to go, so you guys had a little extra time to vote for that. And still, other at 46% of the votes wins. Grant Enfinger is back in the lead again. 23% of the votes. Hocevar at 20%. Heim at 8%. So Enfinger and Hocevar run 1-2 right now. Carson doing a great job on old tires, hanging on to second, to be completely honest. He was running third prior to that, so I don't know that, this was the best call or not. Obviously, if he had fresher tires, he maybe have a little extra something for the 23 of Enfinger, but I don't think it was really going to matter at this point, considering the fact that how strong that 23 truck has looked. Dominant day on the stat sheet when you look at the laps led and you look at the fact that Enfinger won the first 2 stages and could potentially go on to win the race now with 7 laps to go. But, I mean, he lost track position during the stage 1 pit stop, stage 2 pit stop. It took him even longer to get back to the lead in stage 2 as predicted because he fell back a little bit further than what he did in stage 1. Stage 1 pit stop, he only lost 1 stop going from 1st to 2nd. This time he went to 4th, and I think he actually fell back to 5th on one of these late race restarts before, of course, taking the fresh tires, and that was able to allow him to get through the old tire trucks faster than everybody else of those that took fresh tires a couple pit stops ago. So as a result, Carson Hocevar was able to get to the lead first, and still is the only truck of those on the fresher tires to actually get by Carson Hocevar. Eckes is still closing that gap on the 42, but not as quickly as, of course, the 23 was able to catch him. It looks like a 4/10 of a second difference right now, so there could be a battle for a second here down the home stretch between Hocevar and Eckes. Corey Heim again got to 4th place, but he doesn't really seem like he's got anything without a late caution for the 42 or the 11 in front of him. All of the top 5 all playoff drivers right now, and then Ty Majeski with a win in 7th. And then all the other playoff drivers, I should say, outside the top 10 right now. Zane Smith in 11th, Ben Rhodes 17th, Nick Sanchez 24th after that late incident, and Matt DiBenedetto 27th. So unfortunately, Sanchez having that problem, he's not going to be able to pull away in points quite as much as what it was looking like he was going to after scoring a ton of stage points today. And Matt DiBenedetto, despite being a few laps down in 27th and trapped a lap down ever since the end of stage 1, might still have a chance going into Kansas in a couple weeks to get in. It has been an intense battle for 6th place between Chase Purdy and Ty Majeski over the last several laps. They've been side by side for really 5 or 6 laps in a row now, and Purdy is not giving Majeski a lot of room off the exit of the corners, trying to take his line away again as they slide off turn 4, and finally Purdy completes the pass to hang on to 6th, and Majeski will have to try again to try to get that spot. They battled so much that Derek Kraus has actually caught him, making it a 3-truck battle for 6th now in the final few laps of the race. 3 laps to go for Grant Enfinger, a 1.4 second lead over Christian Eckes. Over Carson Hocevar. Eckes is now just a couple tenths behind Carson. Lost a little bit of time through 3 and 4 that last go around. We'll see if the 42 truck can hang on for P2 here in the closing laps. 1 point difference between those two. Vital with them being playoff drivers, despite the fact that they should have a big cushion into Kansas. I mentioned multiple times in the race that Bristol was the final race of the round. That is actually the first race of the next round of the playoffs, the round of 8 for the Truck Series, so I apologize for that. They'll be going to Kansas, only having 1 off week and not 2 coming up. But they are still off for Darlington next week. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank for Grant Enfinger. Through turns 1 and 2 right now go Carson Hocevar and Christian Eckes. It's going to be a good battle into the final corner for that second place position. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Grant Enfinger sweeps the stages, gets the win, 7 playoff point performance. That'll carry over into the next round because with the win, Grant Enfinger is going to the round of 8 of the playoffs for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Final season for GMS Racing, and Enfinger still has a shot at the championship. A 1.5 second margin of victory over Christian Eckes, who ends up in second. 2 hours, 4 minutes, 22 seconds total time of the race today. 85.8 miles per hour is the average race speed. Enfinger, again, won Stage 1, won Stage 2, gets the 3 stage wins on the season, and now 3 race wins as well. Led 3 different times for a total of 95 laps led. Corey Heim led 35 laps today. Hocevar actually led 40 laps there in the final stage, and 5 laps led for Christian Eckes. So 4 different drivers led, having 6 lead changes amongst those 4 drivers. Total cautions for today's race ends at 6, and the final green flag run ended up at 28 laps. 26 trucks finish on the lead lap in today's race. 3 trucks DNF. You'll get to listen into an interview here post-race with Grant Enfinger and maybe some of the other top finishers in today's race in our brief post-race show for this NASCAR Truck Series event. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't yet. On the way out, the goal 100 likes on the stream, so we'll see if we can get to that here over the next several minutes. And also, try to get those couple more subscribers. We need to get to 4.6 thousand subscribers, so definitely hit that subscribe button here if you haven't yet to the end of this race. End of the stream, I should say. The race is over, but waiting to get to the stream here. And it sounds like they're going to commercial break right now. So they'll interview Grant Enfinger more than likely in Victory Lane, it seems. So we'll stay right here for the moment. We'll go through the full field finishing order while we wait for the Grant Enfinger post-race interview. Once again, a 2.5 seconds was the margin of victory for Enfinger. Carson Hocevar finishes 2nd. Christian Eckes in 3rd. Corey Heim 4th. Matt Kraft in 5th. All playoff drivers in the top 5. Chase Purdy, the highest running non-playoff driver for KBM, finishing 6th. Career high for, season high for him today. Ty Majeski ends up 7th. Again, he's already locked into the next round along with Enfinger with the wins. Majeski at IRP, and obviously Enfinger today at Milwaukee. Derek Krause finishes in 8th place in just his 2nd truck start of the season. Great run for Spire Motorsports. Jake Garcia finishes 9th, and Bailey Curry rounds out the top 10 for Nice Motorsports. Solid day for him. Tanner Gray ends up 11th. Zane Smith in 12th. Taylor Gray 13th. Raja Caruth 14th. Dean Thompson 15th. Ben Rhodes finishes 16th. Colby Howard 17th. Connor Jones in 18th. Brett Holmes 19th. And 20th was Tyler Ankrum. Lawless Allen finishes 21st, Haley Deegan 22nd. This might be the first race in a very long time that neither Lawless Allen or Haley Deegan got in an accident. That might be the first time all season, to be completely honest. I don't know if that is a fact or not. We have had 18 races, but something tells me that one of, if not both of those drivers get in a wreck every week. That did not happen today, but they did finish outside the top 20, needless to say. But they didn't wreck, they finished on the lead lap, so kudos to both of them for at least doing that. Sean Hingarani had a good run early, but was on older tires there late. Unfortunately, fell back to 23rd place finish. Nick Sanchez finishes in 24th. Matt Mills, 25th. William Salvage, 26th. Curious to see what the points look like for Sanchez, of course, after that late incident. Matt DiBenedetto finished 2 laps down in 27th. Lap down for pretty much the entire day today. All the way back at stage 1, he went a lap down, never got the lap back. Daniel Dye finishes 28th. Tyler Hill, 29th. And Stuart Friesen, 30th. Derek Lemke at 31st, Spencer Boyd 32nd, 33rd Josh Rayum, Greg Van Alst 34th, Brad Perez 35th, and Josh Balicki rounds out the 36 truck field here this afternoon. Once again, Grant Enfinger, your winner at Milwaukee, and here he is.
This afternoon, he wins the Clean Harbors 175 at the Milwaukee Mile. 3rd win of 2023 and the 10th of his career. And he's going to the round of 8. Down to Josh Sims.
Grant Enfinger, a dominant performance here at the Milwaukee Mile. Leads 96 laps, sweeps the stages. Even when he lost the lead off of pit road, still able to come back and retake the lead. Grant, when we talked earlier today, you found out about the news GMS shutting down at the end of the year. You said the goal is to prove you guys aren't done. Proved it out there today.
Yeah, no, I don't want to hear anybody ask if we're going to lay down again. So, Jeff Hensley's been focused the whole year. There's been distractions going on all year long. So if anything, this adds clarity. None of these guys, including me, have a job next year, but I feel like we proved we deserve one. So we had a heck of a champion power equipment Chevy. I don't think we were that good yesterday. I think we were a 10th place truck, maybe 7th, 8th place truck. But Jeff, he believes in me and when I tell him what I need, and I believe in him and the calls he makes. So we had a winning truck today. I don't know if we had a dominant truck, but we had a winning truck. And got put behind the 8 ball there at the end. But that was, I don't know, it was fun racing. I hope the fans enjoyed it. This one is special for a lot of reasons. Obviously the news this week. But I want to say a big thank you to Maury Gallagher, Spencer, Ron Booth, Mike Beam, everybody that's built GMS Racing. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Also special, my spotter, Jeremy Lundy. My normal spotter, Tyler, couldn't make it, but my late model buddy, best friends forever. He's spotted for me. He's always been there for me when I needed him. I called him on Monday, and he came here, so it's even more special.
And I know you talk about how special it is. I also know it's one of your crew members' birthdays, and he told me earlier today
everybody.
that he was going to celebrate. Shout out to Greg, of course. Can you put into words what kind of statement this makes for you guys, though, as well?
I think we've had speed. If we executed perfectly, no. Did we execute perfectly today? No. But we've had speed all year long. When we've hit it, when that guy's hit it, we've done this twice now this year here in Kansas. So we've got 3 wins, but we've had 3 trucks like this, in my opinion. So this is a brand new truck. I can't say thank you enough for GMS Fabrication, GMS Racing, not just this year and not just lately, but the whole year last year. There was just as much effort put into this stuff, and I'm glad some of our fruits are showing.
Grant Enfinger, your winner at the Milwaukee Mile. Amanda?
Well, Carson Hocevar said off camera that being the runner-up is a bummer until you look at that point sheet. And when you take a look at it as we head into the 3rd playoff race of this season, what's it going to tell you?
Obviously, if we have a bad day or something happens, freak deal. Just confidence of us. Plus 56. It'd be hard to choke that one away. But our 42 Chevy was really fast. Worldwide Express, everybody worked hard, and we were on 11-lap-old tires, and we were able to hold up there. And I was finding lines. I was driving it like a dirt car, sliding myself, running the top. I don't know how good the fans loved it or how good they're racing, but I had a lot of fun just being able to move around, and when I didn't think we were going to be able to. So just kind of a bummer to run second. I haven't done this in quite a while. Luckily, we've been fortunate enough to win some races, so just close.
You mentioned the tires. You also led 40 laps of this race. Grant Enfinger able to make it around you on fresher tires. Was the nudge intentional?
No, I was just trying to get in really hard. We're racing, and we're good buddies, and I didn't mean to get into it. It was pretty close. I'm really thankful he didn't spin or I didn't spin, but I just tried to get in deep, and that black stuff's pretty slick. But it's just really fun, really enjoyable that 98 finally got their superpower taken away, and now we can all race again.
Carson Hocevar, the runner-up here at the Milwaukee Mile.
He's been rolling.
Solid day for Carson Hocevar, and congrats to Grant Enfinger for locking himself into the next round with a win today at the Milwaukee Mile. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Again, here as we are coming close to the end of the stream. As for the point standings going into the next round of the playoffs, this is how they look. Grant Enfinger, Ty Majeski, I just mentioned they're in with a win already in the round. 2 drivers have already advanced to the next round of the playoffs for the Truck Series in the round of 8 on points. Those drivers being Corey Heim and Christian Eckes. No matter what happens at Bristol, they're already locked in on points. They don't even have to go out there and win the race to lock themselves in automatically. Carson Hocevar plus 56 points basically means as long as he scores 3 stage points in the first stage of Kansas, he'll be locked in, no problem. Zane Smith plus 29 points just as he came into the day today. Not a great day for Zane Smith. Scored a couple stage points along the way. Finished 12th. Honestly, a day like that next weekend, and he should be able to make it to the next round considering he's 6th in points, so he's got a couple driver buffer right now on the cutoff line. Gets tight after that, though. Grant Enfinger came into the day. Matt Craftsman came into the day minus 2 points. He gets 11 points on the cutoff line as he is plus 9 in the 7th place position in points going in to Kansas. And then Nick Sanchez plus 3. He was 19 points to the good in the final stage, running in 3rd. overdrove the car, trying to make some moves on a late restart, and unfortunately backed it into the outside wall, and the rookie mistake costed him 17 points in the final stage. 16 points in the final stage. He's +3 going in. He came in +2, so he technically gained a point on the cutoff line, but could have been a lot better situation for Sanchez. That gave Ben Rhodes a little bit more life, who had an off day today. Actually kind of ran top 10 for most of the race, but he didn't score nearly as many stage points as Sanchez, so that is why Sanchez is able to stay in front of Rhodes in the standings. And actually passed him in the point standings, because I think Rhodes was 7th coming in, Sanchez was 8th, and now Rhodes is -3, but he still has a shot again at Kansas. And then Matt DiBenedetto, -20 points. He's not in a must-win situation. He's very fortunate Nick Sanchez had his issue, because if not, he would have been in a must-win situation. Got an extra 16 points there, but if he doesn't score a lot of stage points in the first 2 stages, it's win or bust for Matty D in the elimination race of the round of 10. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Once again, like, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We're not going to get to our goal of likes on the stream today, so we're not going to run this long, as we are still 19 away, and we don't have nearly that many people watching anymore as of this point. I'm sure a lot of people didn't even know the Truck Series was racing today. I think that was probably a large part of why we maybe didn't get as many viewers as we typically do for these truck races. I mean, the truck race at IRP was the second most viewed truck race of the season. And then the next race of the playoffs, it was one of the lowest of the season. So it is what it is. I don't think a lot of people knew the Truck Series was racing today. But for those that did and knew this stream was going to go live, I very much appreciate you guys tuning in here today, spending your Sunday with me, and with all of us, obviously, in the chat as well. I'll see you guys next weekend for 2 live commentary streams. The NASCAR Xfinity Series live commentary stream from Darlington on Saturday afternoon will be at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then the Cup Series live commentary stream for the Southern 500 next week will be at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday night. Have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you back and better than ever again next time, everybody.